Welcome back, Sunday Ballers. Long time no see. This is your favorite podcast airing on the Sunday, every Sunday, and it's been a little bit of a hiatus, but it's really nice to be back. Uh, I'm your host, Dom, and this is my other host,
Sweet.
Jake.
Yeah,
Say hi, everybody. It's been a while,
we're
but
back.
we're very happy to be back. Exactly. Jake, do you have anything to say to the viewers before we really get this thing on the road?
Yeah, we definitely had a rough month. We had a hard time scheduling any appointments together to actually make some content.
Yep.
A lot of this had to do with, this thing called golf. Yeah, it was, yeah, I spent the pretty much the entire month of May just playing golf, getting better at golf. And, yeah, I realized I need more than a month to do that. And, not very good. So a little bit better at podcasting.
Even better.
Um, and golf game will improve. I will show you guys my game on the course once I start breaking 100. And yeah, I'm just excited to talk about ball. That's pretty much that's pretty much why we're back.
That is why we're back. It's the season of getting on the course, and it's been a while since me and Jake have been together and actually like in person. So we
Yeah,
find that it's a lot easier just to go to the golf course and just talk sports the whole time, than
yeah,
hop on the laptops and do the whole thing and get in the studio. But
yeah,
we're very due, and there's a lot of great
yeah,
things to talk about today, and we're gonna do a unique episode we haven't actually explored yet, and we're just gonna kind of freestyle and go down the list. And there's so many things we have on our minds that we want to talk about. We don't
yeah,
want to focus on just one simple topic for today. I mean,
yeah,
in the whole sports world, genuinely, the World Cup's going on right now. We've already watched the NBA Finals and most of the playoffs. I mean, it's over now. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. And
go New York.
well, we've seen some crazy trades. I mean, some crazy moves. It's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of things going on. We start with the Knicks, both of us being New York residents or former New York residents.
From New York, from New York, from New York,
From
I
New
would say.
York. Yeah, from New York. Yeah, I didn't realize how much a Knicks championship would mean to just New York in total. I'm not a big basketball guy. Just never been my cup of tea. Dad's a wrestling coach, so I was forced into that career path. Um, yeah, a lot of sweaty men, a lot of leotards. Um, but
A
it,
lot of cauliflower on the ears. You know the vibe.
yeah, a lot of cauliflower on the ear, a lot, great stuff. Um, But yeah, no, I just never realized what it would mean to the city for the Knicks to win a championship, and God, it was exciting to watch. I have never really enjoyed basketball as much as I had during this entire Knicks playoff run. I've watched pretty much every game in say probably the last three rounds. I didn't really watch much of the Hawks series, but I kind of caught up with it at once they're down 2-1. Yeah, so just all great things. Jalen Brunson's my dad. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all
I,
my thoughts there.
I couldn't agree with you more. I was fortunate enough to make it into Manhattan for a few of the games, and the vibe was just off the charts, really. To see a city rally together around one team, and it's funny how many random white girls that just became Knicks fans this playoff series. They just love the Knicks. That's all over their story. That's all they want to talk about. I've never heard it before. They weren't big Alec Burks fans. They're not huge Lou Munson fans. They don't even know who the fuck Tim Hardaway Jr. is. But it's the city and they're way behind them. New York City is back, whether you like it or not. It's really impressive to see and really almost surprising to see. I mean, the city's been dead for so long. New York sports have been dead for so long, and slowly but surely there is a comeback. The Yankees making the World Series last year, and the Mets making it the year before, and the Giants looking hot, and the Jets are still Jets. But they got K Club Nick, so woo. And it's just
Uh,
we can talk about this Knicks, like the actual basketball a little more, and I'd love to talk about the finals a little bit, but I like to talk about what it just means for the city, and you could feel the vibe, and even being outside of Madison Square Garden, it's the people in the streets partying with the cops, and There's just a happy and uplifting vibe. It's the energy is so high. Um, but yeah, we could actually talk about like the basketball side of it instead of just like the vibe side of it. I think that's a fun part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely can. Not really my cup of tea. I don't really watch a lot of basketball, but yeah, it was definitely an impressive series for most of their players. I really thought Cat was going to have a bigger offensive series, um, but he did a great job defending Wemby most of the time. It was definitely a difficult challenge. Wemby didn't look great. Honestly, most of the team didn't look great except for Dylan Harper. He looked great for the Spurs. He was probably their best player this entire series.
Yeah,
I mean, aside from
that's a
Wemby,
stretch,
like
but yeah,
it's,
their
it's
other
definitely,
player. I get that. Yeah,
definitely a stretch, but I mean, defensively, he was pretty did a pretty decent job on Brunson, on McCall, whoever he was guarding at the time, and offensively, he was consistently putting up over 20 points almost every
yeah.
game in the series. On very good efficiency and coming off the bench. That I was impressed with how he played. He was definitely noticeable. I mean, Wemby, yeah, he's their best player. But
7'5" alien person. I don't. He's still great. I mean, I said
yeah,
it to you the other day. I was like, he would be so good if he didn't think he was Peja Stojakovic and thought he was Akeem Olajuwon. He'd be so good, and he is good.
yeah,
But he just loves a tween step back fadeaway three. He loves it, and it's pretty to watch. It
yeah.
really is. He's fluid.
It's cool to watch, but it is kind of aggravating at times. At least I have a hard time watching it because if I was 7'5", I'd be playing a little differently. Um,
With Tim Duncan on the staff, it's funny. He's
yeah,
on the staff. He's at the
yeah,
games.
I don't know. I think Tim's like kind of like exploring that new NBA look where three pointers are so effective, I guess, in a sense, or so efficient.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just the actual slow shift
But
of five expandable
but
players.
also he's 7'5". The next tallest player on the Knicks was 7'1", right?
Yeah.
Cat.
Mitch is 7'3", 7'4",
Oh, okay.
but
My bad.
he's a long 7'5". I mean, what was it? Game
Yeah,
three when the whole comeback happened. Oh no, game four when the whole comeback happened. Kind of just didn't understand why he wasn't just like over the net and then they just lob the ball
yeah,
in and he just goes like that, just like taps the ball in because he's
yeah. Because
huge.
the
He's
Knicks
taller
got
than
into really,
he goes like
yeah,
this. It's taller than the rim. When I
yeah.
do that, I can barely hit the net. It's insane.
The Knicks got into
Like
like bad foul trouble in a few of the games, and I really thought he was going to
yes.
start dominating the paint, but it was a Jeremy Shogun.
Um, Cat got into trouble a couple games. It was really, and the NBA almost hasn't seen a guy like him. So the fouling, whether it's, whether you think it's an NBA game script type of thing, or whether it's just the refs not
Yeah,
knowing how to officiate a person like that, that's where I kind of see it. I think it's more the latter because when he's so big, he's gonna fall. He's kind of like a baby giraffe. So like when he falls, then they're calling everything, and then people are getting upset because there's no technical contact, but he's like flying on the ground, and like a guy like Brunson's never gonna draw. Brunson does pretty well for himself at drawing fouls, but he is so stout and strong that he's not going to just fall on the ground. Bronson does not fall.
yeah,
SGA falls. It's a separate topic, but
yeah. SGA, yeah, not my favorite guy. Not a big
well, traffic's coming through.
fan.
But yeah, to talk about the actual Knicks and why they
Yeah,
did win this playoffs, they really not surprised me, but it was the
it was
perfect
the power of
storm.
friendship,
It was
the
the
power.
team of destiny. It was the power of friendship. It's everywhere Josh Hart went, whether it was the Lakers or the Pelicans or the Blazers, he was the guy that was known as and then he wouldn't get high fived, and then he'd go like that to himself. And it means so much. And yeah, it doesn't seem like that much on the surface, but it means so much. This was a team where they'd give him the high five. That that matters. There was so much vibe around this team, and the power of friendship. Truly, it sounds stupid, but that matters. Chemistry matters, like genuinely, especially when you are the more experienced playoff team. They were
Yeah,
not making stupid mistakes that the Spurs were making that caused them to lose these to lose these leads. The Knicks had the top three. They had three out of top five biggest finals comebacks in this series alone. That's insane. That is like that's nuts.
Yeah,
That sounds not real. The 29 points was insane. It doesn't happen. And I
no,
think it has a lot to do with the Spurs and their coaching and their lack of real experience. It was their first playoff run. It's very impressive in general
yeah,
to make it this far. But the Knicks, seriously, this was a team of destiny. This was the power of friendship. Besides the fact they were so deep, they had a great nine-man rotation where there's no problem playing Shoan at the end of the bench. He's probably their 10th man. There's no
yeah,
problem playing Shamit. There's no problem playing Deuce. There's no problem playing Jordan Clarkson.
yeah.
There's
And Clarkson and Deuce didn't have a great series. They really didn't have much of a playoff run.
Mhm.
From what I saw, Shamit was great off the bench.
Okay. Shaman had a great playoff
Yeah,
run in general.
he had
Yeah.
a really good playoff run. I mean, he was fairly decent in the finals, but he was good in the finals. But
He's so clutch at the end of games.
yeah,
That's what Shamit really matters.
yeah,
Like you don't see it in the box score a lot of the time, but it matters.
yeah. No, I know everyone's better than Jalen Brunson until it matters.
So it's
Until
time
it's
to
time
be
to be
Jalen
Jalen.
Brunson. It's
Yeah.
true. We could talk about where he's at in the NBA playoff point guard wise. Where does Jalen Brunson rank at this point? He's a top 10
It's
guy. I've been saying that. Now at this point,
right now,
it's not a
currently in the league.
top. Ooh, where is he actually?
I thought you meant all time. I was like,
No. Ooh, no offense to JB. He might be. He's low key sneaking. I'd give him the nod above Jason Kidd. I'd give him the
kind
nod.
of close. I give like close to AI.
He beats AI for me.
He beats AI for you.
He
I
beats
think the
AI.
MVP. I don't know if an MVP is more impressive than a finals run. It really depends on what you think, but I
Yeah.
because AI was pretty much everything for like the Sixers team.
This is a Dwayne Wade type of like '06 type of
Yeah,
finals for me. Like this means a lot. Um, yeah, that's probably the comp. I was thinking about it. I was like, what is the comp? Because the comp technically, like they're a better team than the Sixers were in '01. Like
yeah,
by far, like their second best player was
yeah.
probably
Across the
probably
board.
Cookie Monster. Like but
Yeah.
'06 Wade,
Wasn't
iconic.
Dikembe on that team?
What's up?
Dikembe Mutombo, wasn't he on the Sixers team or no? Am
I
I?
called him Cookie Monster. Yes. Yeah, it's like Eric Snow, and it's they're
Yeah,
not that good.
I know.
Uh,
I used to play as a team in 2K. It was
they
pretty.
were that is a classic 2K team. That's a good
Yeah,
shout.
yeah.
But
It was just like 97 overall AI and like
oh my God, anytime you dribble with him, the other dude on the computer's just falling
yeah,
right over.
yeah,
That's a great team. That's and no disrespect to AI. Like I think that's right where he's sitting all time, point guard wise. But
yeah.
he still has years to do this. He's not that old. He's 29,
29,
and
and he's not a fairly physical player. Like I mean, he does play physical, but his game is really not built on athleticism. Like it's
but it's
not.
not dangerous. He's a technical player. It's not a dangerously
Yeah,
physical game.
no, no. So I think I could see him in the league until he's like 36, 37. You know,
Hmm. And I
pretty.
wonder where he can go with this. Is this team? They wouldn't be my pick to repeat, like honestly. But
We
I
gotta
mean, they
see how
can't repeat.
we gotta see what happens. You know, like there were some injuries this year. Even like the Celtics. Like I think if they have a
Yep.
year together, they'll be a much scarier team.
We can talk about the Giannis trade a little bit, and
We're
you've heard the
young.
rumor. Well, you've heard the rumors of really the two front runners right now are Miami and Boston for Giannis, and I think he
Yeah,
stays a Buck. I think the Bucks will never trade
yeah.
him.
I think this happens every year.
It does, but the odds, like on an app like Kalshi or Polymarket, which you can't really like rely on. I think people are idiots, but the odds for a trade right now, I think Boston's at plus 150 and Miami's at minus 120, and then
Wow.
Milwaukee's at like plus 800 right now. I threw on plus 800 because I think he'll be staying with
Yeah.
them. That's
No, I
simple,
don't blame you.
but that's
Jeez.
ridiculous odds. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
So I do think, and the rumors are heating up. Tyler Hero, his brother commented on it. This is not a source, but like his brother commented a buck on his Instagram post. Like it feels
Yeah.
like
This,
it's
this is
gonna be
like my
my
this is like
Boston.
this is like my take on Brandon Ayuk. Pretty much the same thing.
He's gonna go somewhere. As
He's
there's
going to the
rumors,
Commanders. He's going to the Commanders.
Dude, yes. Well, he also why is he posting himself in a fucking Commander's hat? That's so
And he
stupid.
only follows his wife, the Commanders, and Jane Daniels.
I hate using social media as a
Fact check.
source, not a source.
Well, doesn't he have a no trade clause too? Like he pretty much gets to pick where he wants to get traded to.
Does Ayuk have a trading? Does he have a no trade clause?
I,
That's good. Now let me look.
I think he
Computer, tell
might.
me what you think.
I don't know. I think he has control over like. I think he has some say in where he gets traded to.
I'm looking it up actually.
That. Let me take a look. Brandon
I'm
Ayuk.
not seeing anything, but I think it's going to be tough to move him because of just how
No.
little we've seen. And like, well, we've seen the production. What is it, 1350 in 2022, 23? But
Yeah. Um,
he's
you know
that
how to
big
spell Ayuk?
contract. Oh my God, that contract is fucking huge. That is a humongous contract, and I don't know.
Follows five people. Looks like Jane Daniels, his wife, the Commanders, Adidas, and the biggest brand, who I have no clue who they are.
That's
But that might
hilarious.
be his brand. I think
Okay,
it's his brand.
fair. Well, it does
So,
scream Commanders. It does scream Washington. So I'll say that.
and he's currently in Washington right now.
Okay, he's in Washington, like on a story.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Virginia, USA.
Oh, legitimate source, his Instagram story. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about that because
I'd be very
talk
happy.
about his fit on the Commanders, and we can talk about just trading for him in general. But I do like his
I'm
fit on the Commanders. I think it'll be really fun.
Yeah,
Um,
and also they don't really have that much cap. I think they have a decent amount of cap space. Like, I mean, Bobby Wagner, I don't think still on the roster. I don't think he's eating that much cap space. Eckler wasn't a huge signing. Jaden Daniels is still on his rookie contract. McLaurin's probably their most
yeah,
expensive guy.
McLaurin's their most expensive player probably.
Right.
They're not paying an edge ridiculous money. I'd actually like to look up.
John and Allen's gone, right? Too.
Let me
Aaron
look up
Payne, John and
Commanders.
Allen are both gone.
Commanders
Yeah.
biggest. Because my head just goes to Terry because I know he got that boatload of a deal, but
Yeah.
Laramie Tunsil
Um,
getting 30.1 million. I actually forgot about
the
that.
Commanders have 43.
Payne's make
Yeah, I didn't even realize. I forgot.
Payne makes a decent amount. Kinlaw makes a decent amount. But I agree with you. There is space for an actual. There's space. They have the 23rd highest total cap
Yeah.
allocation in the NFL. There is space. And if there's going to be a team to take
Yeah.
a gamble on the hit of the IU contract, almost $30 million a year, it's
Oh, they still
going
have
to be the
Darren Payne. That
Commander.
was wrong. And
Yeah. Payne's
I
making
mean,
it work
Odafe
eventually.
Owe. I love Odafe Owe. I'm a big fan of that. But
Yeah. I don't know where the Commanders
yeah,
will
no,
finish this year. I
I think I really like Ayuk to that team because like it gives them a good second option. Like we're talking about Antonio Williams being fantasy viable this year.
Mhm.
If you have to compare him to Brandon Ayuk, I would so much rather have Brandon Ayuk. Like
That's a great
this
take.
offense could be a complete dumpster fire. We have no clue what we're looking at this year. We can either see Jane Daniels going for an MVP caliber season like he did 2 years ago,
Yep.
or we could see him completely fall off, become a very injury prone guy like an RG3 or Andrew Luck, something in that ballpark. So it really depends on, I guess, his supporting cast, his offensive line, and the Tunsil signing does help protect him a bit more. But still, he just has to. He could have like a very good caliber year, and I mean him going as right now. I think he's going as a wide quarterback 5 or 6 right now
Yeah.
on sleeper right now. But
Mhm.
I'm
I like
fairly
his I see his fantasy value. He hasn't dropped enough where I'm like ready to take like I'd rather have at the ADP, I'd rather have Caleb Williams, or I'd rather have May at the ADP, or I'd rather have
yeah,
Lamar Jackson at the ADP. But as a MVP candidate, people
yeah,
forget that he was in the NFC Championship as a rookie.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. That team was not that good. It was the
that team
Jalen
was poor.
Daniels show.
Yeah,
And to bring in a guy like Ayuk, where yeah, you're right, the Williams thing, where there's been talk about him going relatively high in fantasy drafts because of they
yeah.
need him. Debo was
Out
a
of,
pretty relevant
out of
player
all
last
the
year. Never brought him back.
out of all the day two, day three rookies, he's one of the highest right now. I mean, he's behind
Yeah.
Omar. I mean, he's probably in the same ballpark as Omar Cooper right
I mean,
now, and he was a day one guy.
probably like Katron Allen, but that's separate.
Yeah,
Um, I love
Casey.
that running back room. It's so much fun. I love that running back room.
What, the Commanders running back room?
Yeah. I mean, not like
It's
I don't
not
love
fun.
them as like a
It's
top 10
horrible to
group, but
watch.
I love them as like, ooh, fun, feisty. Like they
It's
could
not.
be really good if it's implemented correctly and you have a three-headed monster back there. I really do like it.
It's actually terrifying. It's not a three-headed monster, dude. You got a Rashad White who hasn't been relevant in years. Austin
But they
Barrett.
all complement each other. There's complements in the backfield. They all can work together. I
You can't just keep piling shit on top of shit and expecting a good product. Like, it's just
I
more
don't
shit.
think it's shit. I think Rashad White is super underrated. I think Bill is a really solid running back. He was awesome at Minnesota, and he showed his pop last season. For some reason, they wouldn't give him the keys last year. They should have gave him the keys. Bill's
Dude,
really good, and
dude.
Katron is. I love Cage. I really like Katron.
Yeah,
We
I
talked,
love Katron Allen. I
but
do love Katron Allen. And the guy I like the most is Rashad White. But Rashad White
fantasy
is,
wise, I like Rashad White the most.
yeah. Ja'Cory Crossing Merritt is, I had him last year. I thought he was going to explode. Threw me for a loop. His efficiency sucked last year, and he didn't catch passes. Like,
They just wouldn't. They were giving him such a weird snap share,
he had like
even
point
with the
0.4,
injuries.
he had like point 0.4 yards per route run.
But
That's
he's not the
disgusting.
pass catching back. That should be Rashad White. That's why I like Rashad White. He's such a and
I
yes,
love
like
Rashad.
he got people stopped respecting him in Tampa because of the Bucky thing. And they're two different backs. Bucky is the hit the hole and go guy, and Rashad is super, super patient. And they got tired of that in Tampa Bay. But I do think with the threat of Jaden Daniels, it's okay to be a little patient off of screens. I like that. I We're talking about the Washington Commanders here. Like I do think they're one of the boomer bust teams, which will be fun comparatively
Yeah.
to like a team like the Eagles, where I think they're kind of just like are what they are. Like I don't think
Yeah,
the Eagles are going.
I think their floor is like, 9 wins. I think that's their floor, pretty much. Like I really don't see them
Yeah,
dropping much lower than that. But I can see the Commanders winning 4 games this year. I
I
can see them
could.
winning
I
12
could
games
also
this
see
year.
them winning
Yeah.
13 games if everything clicks. And we talked about how much we love the Sonny Styles fit there. I think that's a great, and I don't know if he's an immediate impact player type of guy, but I
Yeah.
do think that he fits the hole they needed. And the defense is my favorite, but they have a really solid D line, especially interior. And Tunzel's
Yeah,
really
no,
solid. Tough
I
to get
really
like a
do like the Odafe Owe signing as well. I just saw that. I forgot about it.
yeah.
But to get a decent edge for like 9.2 million this year, can't complain.
Yeah, I like the D line. That matters. I mean, especially in the NFC East, that of all divisions, that it's extremely impactful. And we saw
Yeah, and,
what
like,
the Cowboys looked like last year without having a really strong D line. I mean, they
geez.
went just take away Micah. Yeah, Micah Parsons, but they went from
Yeah.
a really just like good defense to one of the worst in the league.
I'm actually very
And
excited about the Cowboys defense this year.
we like the NFC East this year. Official Sunday ball clarification. That's a declaration. We love the NFC East this year. It's a very fun division. They're not my favorite. Oh, yeah, that's actually a good question because we could transition if we're ready to start talking about other people. But do you have a favorite division this year?
What do you mean?
Your
Like
favorite
favorite?
division you're excited to watch? Watchability. I'm
Oh,
not talking
most
about
excited to watch.
best is NFC West. We all know that. But
Most excited, like, yeah, NFC West is the best. Most excited to watch. I could say the NFC South because it's going to be just
I like that.
who's ever going 8-9 this year is going to win it. NFC North is going to be insanely competitive this year. That's probably my favorite one. So that's probably going to be my number one. NFC North, AFC West is going to be pretty good. I depends how the Raiders do, but I think NFC North is going to be a slug out. I think
Yes,
honestly,
very
all
excited
four
about
teams can make the playoffs this year.
it.
I The only one I don't have right now in my head that I don't think is going to make the playoffs out of the four teams is the I have the Lions. Out of all four of those
Yeah,
teams, they're my team to not make the playoffs. But um, I really think Kyler's going to change the culture in Minnesota. I think he's going to be a huge difference maker for them.
and with that said, the Detroit Lions were the worst team in that division last year. They finished with the worst record. They have a great chance to go worst to first. And we're talking about them, yeah, they might repeat, but they were 8-9 last season. The Vikings went 9-8 with JJ McCarthy. We saw
I
how
think they're
incompetent that team was last year. They were incompetent. That team
yeah
was like they went 9-8. That
yeah.
like they went over 500. This is the NFL we're talking about. I that division's super exciting. I am excited for the NFC South a lot. I think it's
It'll just
anyone
be it'll
win.
be
AFC South is fun too. That's a very
yeah.
fun division.
The thing is, I'm excited for the NFC North the most because I don't really have a favorite to win that division, and the quality of play is going to be better than the NFC South.
I
That's my
agree.
thought process.
True.
And also, like, I do think there are going to be teams that run away with it. Like, I don't think the Falcons are competitive this year. I don't think you put either of those quarterbacks back there and expect to have a competitive season,
I like Tua
unless
this season. I
Bijan,
must say, I like Tua.
unless you get an AP quality season from Bijan, which is feasible, but he's going to have to carry your team. I don't. The Panthers solid. I think they're solid. I think the Saints are going to win this year, and I think Tampa's going to come in third. So I got
Really is. You like the Saints to win
Saints,
the division?
Panthers, Bucks, Falcons, and I think they're all going to be within one of each other.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's going to be a very maybe the most competitive of that division we've seen in a while. We're not talking about a 7-win team making the playoffs either. I think the team that wins that is going to win 9-10 games. It's super competitive, and same thing with
Yeah,
the opposite in the AFC. I really like the AFC South. I know the Texans are technically the favorite, but the Jags are right behind them.
yeah,
Danny's going to be playing week
yeah.
one. It's extremely competitive, and I'm not talking about the Tennessee Titans, but I don't know if they have a shout. I don't say.
I got the Texans winning the division
Yeah,
right out. I think the Jags are very much. I don't know. I really got to see what Trevor carries into next season. That will definitely be a playing factor. But I've seen so much Trevor Lawrence in my expert career. You call me an expert if you want. But yeah, I've watched so
firing
much Trevor.
expert. Firing expert.
I watched so much Trevor Lawrence like coming out of college, and I was very excited to see him. But a lot like other Clemson guys, very RPO heavy, very emphasis
Yeah.
on getting the ball out of your hands. And I feel like finally he was at a point last year where he was actually reading defenses and like making decisions and
Hmm.
actually using his rushing potential. I think he went for almost 400 yards last season, something like
Hmm.
that. And we really got to see where he's going to be
Yep.
as a player if he's coming off
Hmm.
the last half of the season where he was one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL.
Trending?
To he might have honestly weeks like I think 10 through 16 he was the best quarterback in the NFL. He might also fall off a cliff.
He might.
Um, yeah,
I love
so I
Liam Cohen
mean,
for that offense, though. I love Cohen for the team in
yeah,
general. I think he sets the culture there, and I was not high on him coming out. He just is, you watch his conference, especially when he first was hired, and he's such a monotone guy where you're like, like what are we doing here? And all of a sudden, the Jags were a really solid team all throughout last year, and were able to close out games and stuff the
yeah,
Jaguars haven't been able to do. And I think they have, and I'd like to transition into something else if you're down for that. Talking about Travis Hunter, a guy that was the number one pick that we haven't really seen what Travis Hunter can be. And this is a conversation that, and a discussion that I've seen recently, especially with Wemby being so relevant to the playoffs this year. Who is the NFL's Wemby? And people were saying Calvin Johnson. and I heard Nick Imamwari posted that he thought he was the Wemby, but in reality, I think a Wemby is more similar to the MLB with a guy like Otani, a guy that can go both ways. And I think Travis Hunter could be that. And if he's seriously, and yes, they're two different players, but that's where I think that's what would be the NFL's version of a Wemby. And if he is serious, because he really is legit, we watched him in college, we watched him. It's the reason why he was the best player in his class. If he could go both ways this season and be a lockdown cornerback one for that team, because they don't really have a CB1, he is their CB1 now. And he could put in 600 yards and 5 touchdowns next season, even on relative trick plays, because that the wide receiver room is packed. There's plenty of guys where they don't need Travis Hunter to be their one, but if Travis was their bona fide three, and then he's their cornerback one, that I mean, it would. Besides the fact that would be insane and really never seen before, it would mean so much to that team. You put all this capital into getting a guy like him in the first place. I think that's what they want of him. That was Cohen's first move as the coach. It would be really impressive to see, and I think it would mean not just a lot for the play on the field, but a lot for the culture to have such a special player like that. And he's been kind of forgot about, and his stock is so low right now that's a guy, not fantasy wise, but just in general to buy right now. I love buying Travis stock right now. I think he's super special. He was yes, it was a tough draft, but he was the number one pick for a reason.
Yeah, I definitely have a different take on that. I'm not as high on Travis Hunter. I think there's a huge difference between the NFL and the NBA. Obviously, both players playing offense, defense to that extent. But you think about how many players actually come in for a game. You have 10 players coming in for a game. That's less than the amount of people on one side of the ball. So I don't know. I just feel that the NFL and the NBA are very different sports in that singular players matter so much more to a team in the NBA. Whereas like having a superstar in the NFL really doesn't translate. Like you did make the Megatron reference, and
Yeah.
I saw Megatron go 0-16 one season.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so I just that's kind of my take on it, and I don't necessarily know if there is going to be a player like Wemby that's just
Yeah.
generational. But if there is anyone, it's Patrick
Yes.
Mahomes.
When I use the Wemby label,
It's Patrick Mahomes.
when I say Wemby label, I mean the alien. I mean a guy that is an alien
Oh, like a
and
freak athlete.
like just a freak that we haven't seen. I use the Otani comp for the
Oh
MLB
yeah,
a lot better because a guy that can
yeah.
be a
I think I know.
super top tier player on both sides of the ball. I don't think like an alien. Technically
Yeah,
speaking, there could just be like a forward that doesn't get drafted and is like a 6'10" guy, but he's super athletic and just
yeah,
gets sent to like a team. And then he's just catching passes out there and he's ridiculously
yeah,
athletic and is crazy. And I think that'll happen eventually. I also think the overseas argument is very interesting. That will the NFL start to get, you get most, yes, there's been with the Pathway and Mailata and other guys that have been taken from overseas, but we really haven't had an NBA pathway program like the NBA does. We haven't had that NFL type of program, and there is talent everywhere. And the NFL, especially compared to a sport like baseball or like basketball, there's less of a jump. Like it matters more athletics and personal intangibles rather than just like being able to dribble between the legs and cross over a guy and put up a jump shot. That's like I think that's more of a when you're younger, most of these NBA guys they're playing AAU at 8 years old. That's their sport. But NFL, most of those guys coming out of high school were three-sport guys. We have Kyler Murray, who was a top 10 pick in MLB, and he was the number one pick in the NFL. I think it's a sport, and that's the quarterback position. I mean, that's the toughest position to play in football. We have guys that were drafted number one that they can't do shit in the NFL. Like it's a super difficult position. But I do think the NFL and football in general is a lot. It's more reachable. It's more achievable to get a guy that never really played and just to throw him into the sport and say, I mean, there's guys. Think about a guy like Antonio Gates. Think about a guy like Mo Alley Cox, a guy like Tony Gonzalez. These are all college basketball players that played in the tournament. Like I do think, and that's a totally separate discussion, I suppose. But I think for us to, with the whole Wemby thing, I do think it's interesting to say who will be our alien. It hasn't quite happened yet. Calvin Johnson is insane, but he's only so big relative to the NFL wide receiver. You know what I mean? He's only so big in comparison to the biggest wide receivers. Victor Wembanyama is humongous compared to the average NBA guy, but Calvin Johnson isn't that big compared to the average NFL guy. There's linemen that are his size. There's nobody that's even close to Victor Wembanyama's size.
Yeah,
That's what I mean when I say alien.
if you're basing it on height, like if you're just basing it on that regard, you
Not
could
just
talk
height, not
about.
just height, not just height.
I'm like you could throw in like Harold Carmichael or Ed Tall Two Jones, like Ed Too Tall Jones. If you want to really get some throwback guys, but I mean like if you're going based on just how different they are compared to the rest of their position, I think you go Miles Garrett. Like if there's anyone in the NFL that's just different, I've never seen someone like 270 pounds of weight.
It's interesting you say that, genuinely, because I do
It's
think
gross.
the alien label could also have to do with mass. And a guy like Aaron Donald, with how,
Yeah,
for his size to be that
yeah.
massive.
280, like 6 foot. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think Aaron Donald, Miles Garrett, those are guys that like have are in like the discussion for that. Um, Definitely in discussion for that. I mean, Otani for baseball. I'm trying to think if there's like any other like just like freaks. I mean, Kevin Warriors getting me excited. I love that he called himself that. He's one of my
I mean,
favorite players. Right?
Aaron Judge is literally just an Aaron Gordon comp. They're like they're the same person. They just play different sports. Like, it would
Yeah,
be crazy.
yeah. No, and I'm definitely excited for Aaron Donald to come back.
What
If
do we
he
think?
does,
What do we think? Is he really coming
he
back?
does. I mean, why wouldn't he get another ring?
I mean, no.
Solidified.
He was an all-pro first teamer in 2023. He hasn't lost a step. You've seen the workouts. Like,
Yeah, it would be, yeah, and if he could get in on like a reasonable deal, I actually have like all the team's cap space pulled up from previous stuff. The Rams are probably negative, I guess.
nope, nope.
No,
He
the
would
Rams
need
actually
probably
aren't
take a
that
minimum.
bad.
Probably a minimum.
They have like 18 million right now in cap.
It'll be more for the love of the game. You know,
Yeah,
I would
the,
love to
the
see it. I
Niners,
think it would be
Niners have
unfair.
the Niners have a ridiculous amount of cap space. How?
The Niners, they really haven't. Especially once the IU contract leaves, they're really not paying anybody. Yes, Purdy got the deal, but
Yes, their highest paid guys are Purdy, Bosa, Williams, Warner at 18, Kittle at 14, Ayuk at 13 right now.
I hardly understand NFL cap gymnastics. I think Howie
Yeah,
Roseman for the Eagles has done things that I don't even know are possible. Like
yeah,
just backloading contracts and then restructuring. It's really impressive, honestly.
yeah. Because we're just talking about the cap hit here. We're not really talking about anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah, because even like Mike Evans, like the cap hit's 4.3 million.
that's crazy. Mike
Yeah,
Evans, he's gonna go. We talked about this the other day. What do you think if you had to set Mike Evans' line at? Where do you put Mike Evans' line
I
at?
think you said it at 1,000, and just hope. I think it's kind of low, but you also kind of have to see how he adapts to being with Purdy. I mean, he's been with Baker for so long. I mean, prior to that, he had like 18 different quarterbacks in Tampa. But yeah, I think it's going to take him a minute to get used to Purdy, especially he's someone who I don't know. Mike Evans is a very odd player to really compare to anyone because he does everything so well. He's not really like a specialist in any regard, and there's been points in his career where he was one of the best deep threats in the NFL, one of the best contested catch guys in the NFL. Now he's kind of in like a more possession realm where he's consistently open all the time. So you kind of have to see where he's going to take that next step, and I think it's going to be Brock Purdy's team this year. Like
Yeah.
last year with the Niners, it was CMC's team. Like CMC was the guy, but I had him in fantasy last year. Thankfully, he was wonderful. But yeah, he even like looking at he's turned 30 years old. Most efficiency that's pretty much the efficiency cap for running backs. Like I mean, there are oddities like Derrick Henry. I don't know how he's still doing what he's doing.
Derrick Henry.
Um, yeah, Derrick Henry,
He's
greatest.
just Derrick Henry. He's just
His
so massive that he doesn't
his
work like a normal. He
yeah
works like a horse. He's literally built like a horse.
yeah
It's crazy. Like he's built like a well-oiled machine. He's built like
yeah
a Toyota Tundra. Like he's nuts.
yeah.
He's got
Dyson
the
McKenna.
he's got a
Yeah,
Hemi on. Yeah, he's got a Hemi under the hood, man. He might be
yeah,
Diesel. Like he's
he's so
crazy.
yucky. He's so yucky.
But I do think
But
the thing you talk about with the quarterbacks is interesting because he's caught passes from Mike Glennon, he's caught passes from Josh Freeman, he's caught passes from Fitzpatrick, he's caught passes from Jameis. To put him in yes, he's older, of course, but to put him in offense run by the smartest man in football, Shanahan is, in my head, he's the best coach in football. He's right up there, at least if you don't agree with that. To put him in an offense with a super capable quarterback, and yeah, he doesn't have the arm of Jameis, but to put him with a dark horse MVP candidate like Purdy, I think this is going to be a big season this year. I really do. I like Mike Evans in that offense. I would put his line at 10-60, and I
you want
think,
to see it?
uh,
You want me to check his line right now?
yeah, actually, I do have because of the World Cup. I bet yesterday, and I have a $25 free bet, and I'm thinking I just got to put in an NFL futures bet. That gets me excited.
Oh, Mike Evans. I don't want to sign up. I just want to.
Oh,
So right now, Cal Sheet has his line at over over 1,000 receiving.
ooh, I gotta go get my charger. Give me 5 seconds.
Yeah. I don't
Can't be
know
dying
why
on the
it
pod. Can't be dying on the pod.
can't die on the pod. One markets. Yeah. Mike Evans. Mike Evans. All right. Well, hopefully his laptop doesn't die. I will talk for a little bit. I was talking about McCaffrey a little bit and just like kind of how I view him this year and why I think Purdy is going to have such a great season. And he's going to turn into his team rather than McCaffrey's team. Last year, Purdy was injured. Obviously, that plays a factor. But along with Purdy, Kittle didn't play too much. They didn't have Mike Evans. Pearsall was injured. Ayuk was sitting out. Mac Jones ended up playing a few games, and I remember like their leading receiver for a game was old pass guy. Was it Keyshawn? No, it wasn't Keyshawn Booty. I can't think of his name right now. It's gonna kill me. Yeah. So we're still recording. But yeah, I think he did not charge his laptop, which is not the move. But yeah, so I think this is going to turn over into Purdy's team completely because CMC's efficiency was down. I think he rushed for like 3.9 yards per carry, which is at the lowest since his rookie season. So his efficiency is not great. On top of that, he relied very heavily in the passing game. And the reason I mentioned all those guys getting injured is because that takes away from his targets. I think he had over 100 receptions last year, or at least 100 targets, which is unheard of for most running backs. And that hitting that stride and hitting that many receptions is just insane. So, yeah, we're still recording. I was just talking more about McCaffrey
Yeah,
and
I'm
my
happy
thoughts
about
on
that.
it.
My laptop loves me. It says 20% warning, and then it just shuts off. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks.
Nice.
What happened?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna finish talking about McCaffrey, but yeah,
Lisa?
I'm fading him this year I'm fading him this year in fantasy. I think it's gonna turn over into Brock Purdy's team, and I don't think he's worth the ADP of 6 right now, which is where he's getting drafted on sleeper. Some other platforms a little bit higher, some platforms a little lower. I understand. I would like him like in a 12-man league, probably if he's sitting there at like pick 10.
Hmm.
I'd probably go with him just above like Jefferson and London.
That's fair. So
Yeah.
I see you talking about running backs in fantasy. Where do you PPR wise, first round, second round backs? What is your list? You have a relatively
I don't have. I don't know. I'm gonna do one off a rip right now. So Bijan, Jameer Gibbs. I have Bijan just slightly ahead of Jameer Gibbs just because we've seen him do it before. We saw what he did last year with Algier. I think Algier is a better running back than Brian Robinson. So I do think he's going to produce pretty much the same as he did last year. Another top three finish, and and then with Jameer Gibbs, there is some opportunity. There is some more opportunity with Demont gone, but at the same time, it is going to be a different system with Pacheco being the backup. Pacheco has lost a step, and also Gibbs is not used to this workload. This workload is excessive. It's going to be insane. He is because Isaiah Pacheco, from what we saw last year, was not the same guy that he was before the ankle injury. So I think I he might get out overworked. Bijan is used to the work. We're just gonna have to feel it out. But I think they're pretty much 1 and 1A at this point. At number three, I have Jonathan Taylor. I love JT. I had him last year with McCaffrey. I don't know how I got that stack last year. I just abused it. I went 13-1, lost first round playoffs, so
happened.
not very happy about that. Yeah, I went against Jameer Gibbs and Puka Nakua, and they both dropped 50 in back to back weeks. I just nothing I can do about that. Yeah, so Jonathan Taylor, I do like him for non PPR format. I think he is the best running back to play. I think he is probably number one. But in a PPR format or even half PPR, I think he still has a ton of value at just behind those three receivers. So probably around six, I have him. And then from there, a lot of people are high on James Cook, and I understand he just came off of a great rushing season. Um, I might have him at my four over McCaffrey. It's definitely close. I'm not huge on James Cook just because he doesn't have any sort of receiving upside like Jonathan Taylor. But the thing is that offense is so spread out that his workload is significantly cut by Ty Simpson, by Ray Davis, who we saw last year take a significant portion of his load. And then with the addition of
Hey,
Sky Moore, what?
nothing.
No. With the addition of DJ
You got a quick
Moore,
pause, but yeah, you're good.
oh, I did. Okay.
It took a significant
Um,
portion of the load, you know.
nice. Yeah.
Sorry.
Not the full load, just a significant
That's a
portion.
significant portion. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
Awesome. Yeah. So I just think I got to go James Cook at four. He's in possibly, they're probably going to finish as a top six offense.
Mhm.
And he is coming off being the leading rusher last year. Even without the receiving work, he did have a very consistent season. I think he averaged about 100 yards per game. And yeah, he's been fantasy viable in his career. Maybe he gets some more receiving work, but I really don't see that happening with DJ Moore, with Khalil Shakir, with the two tight ends, Kincaid and Knox. And then even like Ty Simpson. No, not Ty Simpson. God.
Ty Johnson?
No. Yeah, Ty Johnson. Thank you. Sorry. Ty Johnson and Ray Davis, like them getting work. Not that it's necessarily committee, but it is going to take away. And then at number five, I'm going to have McCaffrey. Like I said, I do think he's going to go down in efficiency. Like his efficiency, he was rushing for 3.9 yards per carry last year. That's not even close to like running back standards. That is
The volume guy at
very
this
poor, and he's
point.
30.
Doesn't have to be.
He's turning 30 years old. Even last year, you'd see him taking a step off, and maybe he was taking a step off because he was getting used so much. But there's no way he touches 100 receptions again, especially with Evans, Kittle, Stripling, Pearsall,
I
possibly
like their pick. I like Jennings, the kid, Duan, the Ole Miss kid.
Stripling.
Stripling. There you go.
I don't know if that's his real, if that's the actual name. I hate
I
that
believe
pick.
that's his last name.
That was like one of the worst picks of the draft.
I don't love it, but I do think it's an upside pick, and I do think he'll be involved in the
Yeah,
offense this year.
but you got Casey on the board. Like seriously, like you lived off of a gadget guy in
Yep.
Debo Samuel for years, and you're telling me that one of the best gadget guys that we've seen come out of college in a very long time, who actually has a build who could do both. Honestly, his comp might be a slimmer Debo Samuel. Like I think that's not a bad comp for Casey Concepcion,
I like that.
and you're gonna let him walk to a different team. Like this guy wasn't even in the top 15 for wide receivers this year, and he got drafted as like wide receiver 5 or 6.
Yeah, the 49ers like to reach. They've showed that in multiple drafts, and that's fine. But
Yeah,
when
but
there's other guys on the board that I think, and we could even get into the back end of our top 10 that we liked out of wide receivers, guys that were going in the second and third round.
it was I don't know.
We sneak. We sneak. Yeah, we have a baby turtle. He's actually gonna make a guest appearance right now. So quick intermission. Please keep talking.
Yeah, um, yeah, I don't really know. Well,
Well, we have a baby red-eared slider that we found in the backyard, and he's super cool. And he's gonna hang out because he's hanging out in his little bucket. He's got a little bucket with everything, but he's super dope. And he was just hanging out here. We have no pond. We have a little pond here, but there's no like water around here. That's where turtles live. How do you get here? I'm not sure. I don't know how Mr. Turtle got here. I think we're going with Timmy is his name. I think Timmy the Turtle is
that's
what we
fair.
decided on. I
Yeah,
like Timmy. Maybe Timmy will make a guest appearance at the way end, but Timmy's hanging out, and we rock with Timmy because Timmy rocks with us. So we like Timmy. Timmy's cool.
okay.
But with
I know very little about turtles. Maybe there was a puddle or something. Maybe that's what he was
I'm
drawn
not
to. But
sure.
you
He's
get
tiny.
puddles. You
He's
get
smaller. He's
puddles.
smaller than my cap. He's a
Oh,
little bit
geez.
smaller than
Wow.
this. He's a little baby
Wow.
turtle.
I don't know. It's been kind of windy here a little bit. Maybe flu.
You know what? Timmy's coming on. Timmy's coming on the pod right now. We're hanging out with Timmy. This is a freestyle pod. Timmy's coming on. Oh, Timmy.
Yeah, I do have a dog that can come on, but he will eat my
Come on,
lips.
Timmy.
So
Come on, Timmy.
don't want to do that.
Timmy's cool, man. So this is Timmy's home for now. Hi, Papa. And this is my main man, Timmy. This is my main man, Timmy. Because he's cool. Timmy rocks with us. My main man, Timmy. Look at him. He's just chilling. All right,
We'll
Tim.
see.
He's going back in his spot. You can hang out.
Yeah,
That's my main man right there. He's
yeah.
dope.
Tim Hardshell Jr.
Ooh, I like that. Timmy
Oh,
Hardshell.
Timmy
I think that
Hardshell.
might be his full name. I like that. Timmy Hardshell.
Timmy
But
Hardshell.
Timmy Hardshell's cool. And
Uh, Speaking of pets, rest in peace, Ballsack.
rest in peace, Turbo Ballsack Fives. Rest in peace.
Rest
You're a
in
good
peace.
man.
Yeah,
But talk about yeah, just to kind of follow. I think that's a
yeah.
great
Do you want to
five.
do your top? Do you want to do your top five?
Honestly, that's pretty much where I'd put my top five at.
Mm-hmm.
I think that those three are very. It's really Sophie's choice with those last three. Who you like better? I think James Cook probably has the best floor of those guys. I think still
Uh,
CMC does have the
I have
best. CMC would
Taylor.
be my five.
I have Taylor as the best floor. I'm just a
Okay.
very big on Taylor. I think CMC has the best ceiling, but I think Taylor has the highest
But
floor.
I'd keep it as is, and I think it really gets interesting when you get into the 6 through 10 spot. You got the
Yeah,
two sophomores, you got the rookie, you got Saquon,
let's
you got Kenneth Walker, you got
let's
EQ.
walk through it a little bit
Let's
and
walk
see what.
through it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
my six is Saquon. My six is Saquon Barkley. I
I'm
think he
just going
just, yes, he had a slightly off season based on the offense and kind of where they went with it. But I think he's primed for not a repeat of 2024, but I think it's going to strike closer to where that was. I think the departure of AJ Brown is going to make that offense better. I really do like Devonta as the one and Makai as the two. I think it's go and there, despite the rule changes, whatever, I don't think there'll be nearly as much tush push next season. I think they've realized that it doesn't work that well without Jason Kelsey. It just doesn't. So I'm really excited for what that offense can look like. And as we said, they're going to be a floor 9-win team. They are a productive offense. They put up touchdowns. And without having AJ Brown, you don't have to force the ball anywhere. He was being a diva. And there's going to be divas, wide receivers. It's what they do. That's how they get paid. But without having a diva where you have to force the ball, I do think it opens up the offense. And I like him. I think he's got an argument over CMC. I think he has an argument, I don't know, over Jonathan Taylor or James Cook, but I would argue him at my 5 or 6. My 7 would be, and this is where it gets really interesting. My
Yeah,
7
we're uh,
would be,
we're already differentiating right now. So
okay, well, I want to hear yours after, but um, I'll go down my list and then you can hop in.
yeah,
My 7 would be Ashton Genty. I do think there's other guys that have more of a guarantee than him, but he was drafted so high for a reason, especially by the Raiders. I think he's going to get the keys next season. I'm very excited for it. Their offensive line has went from bad to relatively solid. Yes, they're not a top 10 group. They're not a top 15 group, but he's not going to be getting touched behind the line nearly as much. He's so good after contact, and I think it's going to be more getting touched to the 2 yards ahead rather than -2 yards. I'm very excited for it. I do think Omarion Hampton they're very similar ADP wise. I think Hampton has a great argument for it. I'd put Hampton at my 8. Personally, I think that the offense, and yes, the offense is better intangibly wise, and it really depends what Harbaugh decides to do. If it's going to be a run heavy team and that's it, I'm fine with going Hampton at my 6. That's what I mean when I say Sophie's choice. All these backs, you can go wherever. I'm not as high on Kenneth Walker as a lot of other people. He would be my number 9. Arguably, I could
it's
discuss
funny, bro.
Derrick Henry
That's
as my 10.
those are both so funny. Those last two,
What?
K9 and Derrick Henry. Oh, I'm not even
It's
sniffing
gonna
either of those.
it's gonna be interesting. Who's the back of your top 10? Because I'm not talking about Josh Jacobs. He doesn't count. Whatever. I'm not. Josh Jacobs would probably be ahead. He'd be right with that sophomore pack. So I'm not gonna talk about Josh Jacobs because I don't know what it looks like this season. I think yes. No, actually, give me Achin at my 8. Give me
Yeah,
give me Achin at my 8. Give me Chase Brown at my 9, and give me.
I'm
I'll
fine with
take.
K9 there.
No,
K9 there's
I would take K9 at my 10. Yeah, and then
yeah.
my 11, 12 would probably be Henry and ETN. Yeah,
Okay.
and that's about where we're at.
Yeah. So I'll go through mine really quick because you talked about a lot of the guys that I was talking about. Um, yeah. I Oh no, I do have Henry and K9 in my top 12. I do think they're like pretty much guaranteed top 12 guys this year, but I'll start from the back and work my way down.
Sure.
So Henry's gonna be my number 12. I just honestly no. K9's gonna be my number 12.
Hmm.
I really don't like K9. I'm thinking about swapping him out with Jeremiah Love. I don't. The thing is, we're going all based on projection with K9. We've seen
Of
what he's
course.
done in the past in his career, and I mean, granted, Charbonnet, whatever, but still, he could not beat out a guy that was like a fourth round pick in Charbonnet, whatever. And even if Charbonnet got hurt at the end of last year, and his production still wasn't great until the Super Bowl, I think he's really just getting a ton of hype off that Super Bowl MVP.
True, but I do think
Where
the contract matters. I do think to pay him all that money, I do think it matters.
Yeah, I do think he's going to get
I think he's
a
getting the
significant
keys.
amount of the touches, but I still don't think he's getting as much receiving work as a lot of the guys I have ahead of him. That's the thing. Like he's not a
Also,
receiving
I
guy.
would put Jeremiah. Would I put
I
Jeremiah
might put
Love over ETN? I don't. I probably would. Probably.
yeah,
Even with James still existing, who's a really good back. He's very capable.
I'm considering putting Love ahead of K9 and Henry. Like I'd consider
I'd
it.
respect that. I don't think I would, but I respect that.
Just because of the what we saw out of him from college, just how explosive he was, and K9, have seen what he's done in his past. I don't think his production has ever been all that good. His yards per carry aren't great. His touchdown numbers aren't great because of Sharp, and that's a blame. But still, at the same time, being a run first running back that doesn't have receiving upside and is getting your and you're getting your touchdowns vultured, that doesn't really add up or make sense. Like I get it for like a guy like Bijan, who's very heavily in the receiving game. Same thing with Gibbs. Same thing with McCaffrey. Like guys like that who get their touchdown. Even Achan who could get his touchdowns vultured by Ali Gordon this year. I just don't get how he's not getting the touchdown numbers that he should be getting when Charbonnet is. He's a good running back. I give him
Yeah.
kudos, but I really just don't think K9's anything special.
I think
So
he's
I'm
special. I'm not going to say Kenneth Walker is not special. I'm very excited because I think I'm very high. I've been high on him since his UCLA days. I really like Zach. I think he's awesome. So I think there's a reason why they complemented each other very well. I mean, they won a Super Bowl, even without Sharp. But I'm very excited to see him
yeah,
finally get
but
heads on keys. And we're not talking about as a top five, top six guy. We're talking about ADP wise, or at least our ADP wise, as a
yeah,
back.
I mean ADP right now on Sleeper, he's going at running back six.
That's
That's
no,
the
we're not doing that. No, I'll take Saquon over him any day of the fucking week. I'll take Achane
yeah,
over him any day of the week. I'll take Chase Brown any day. Eh,
yeah. No,
I
so
think-
I'll keep going with my list.
Please do.
I have Derrick Henry at 11. I mean, we did talk about him a little bit. He is going on year what? He's turned 32 this year
Yeah.
or 33, something like that. You don't see running backs do it, but I cannot keep this guy off the list. He has been so consistent for so many years and just been the guy that we know every year we're like, oh, this is his last year. Like when Saquon had his crazy season, he almost went for 2K as well. And that's like the biggest thing with him is like even last year still went for over 1,000. And like I'm not big on him this year. I don't love him. His ADP is fairly reasonable, but aside from one big blow up game last year where he dropped 45 against the Packers at the end of the season, when I'm assuming you're probably out of the championship at that point because your starting running back was Derrick Henry. Um, he hadn't dropped anything over 22 points that entire season. Like he just like was very inefficient, and I mean Lamar had injuries, so there was not as much of a throwing component to the game. And we did see him like week one against the Bills. He was very explosive and he was looking great. If Lamar comes back healthy, I do think he's poised for another good season.
Mhm.
But I think he's going to stay exactly where his ADP is. And I have him at 11 right now. I think there are some guys that could be ahead of him, but I think he's pretty much going to finish in between the 10 and like 18
Yep.
mark. I don't think he's really going to, his ceiling isn't really as high as the other guys, in my
No.
opinion.
I do think he's chasing Canton, which matters at this point.
Yeah.
Having a guy like Lamar, it's tough running out there with Snoop, you know? Like
Yeah.
eh, Lamar is just he's just we've talked we all we did this weekend was watch tape. That
Yeah.
we just watched football tape,
He's
and we
awesome.
had a visible, disgusted look on our face watching the Lamar Jackson tape. Just
Yeah.
how yucky it is. It was just
Yeah, and
he's
we
so
were
much
watching
older.
Lamar college tape, and now he's a much better thrower of the football. But like when he took off, there's some things like you'd just be like fastest guy on the
Wow.
field.
That quarterback trap, man. Oh my God.
Yeah. So at my number 10
Trap.
spot, I have Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
Yeah, I just I saw him play last year. He's getting older. He's coming off what I think he's had at least one ACL tear, other injuries as well. Yeah, so I'm just not as high on him with compared to the other guys. And Saquon is like one of the few that doesn't really meet my threshold of like I've seen what these guys can do. I've seen their potential. I've seen like how they have acted in their career. And even just like seeing him just like miss a step a little bit last year and just how, you know, he wasn't really able to take over that offense. And nothing really changed. I mean, the Eagles were the same team as the year before, and just his efficiency went down significantly.
Well,
And like his receiving game was just, maybe it was AJ Brown, maybe it was so what, but still, like you still want to scheme for a guy who is going to be your guy. And there was a bunch of issues with the offensive line last year. Lane Johnson going down. It's a much bigger problem than you think. So Saquon at 10, I do think he's still primed for a good season. I do think he has a very high ceiling, but I think his floor is pretty much it could be anywhere. We've seen Saquon get injured, and we're very fearful for it. But even without the injury last year, he just wasn't that efficient, wasn't that great. Um, Number
Profiles.
9, I have a Marion Hampton. I have Hampton at 9. I do love Marion Hampton. I do love the situation that he's in LA. I think he's going to get the keys. I think he's going to be unbelievable this year, especially with Slater and Alt back. And he is one of the guys I'm very happily taking before the middle of the second round. Those few weeks where he did not suffer that ankle injury, he was dropping like 20 points a game. It was ridiculous. I think he dropped at least over 20 points a game, and I had him on my team as well, and he was just unbelievable for me in that stretch. And I was really hoping to get him back for playoffs, and he was just not fully healthy at that point. And Vidal was efficient last year, so that's kind of why I have him a little bit lower than the next guy or the next three guys. Yeah, Vidal is just he was fairly efficient for the Chargers last year, and I don't know if that's game plan, I don't know if that's scheme, but it does give me a little bit of a worry that it might cut into like some of his receiving work, might cut into some of his running work. It might not. I mean, you did take a guy in the second round who has very or was he first rounder?
Omarion? Back
Yeah, back of the first. Yeah, you took a guy in the first round that has an insane athlete profile. He's one of the he honestly is his build is very similar to Derrick Henry's to an extent. I think he's like 6'2",
a
like
large individual.
240. I mean, a
Yes.
little bit smaller, maybe like a Charbonnet look, but
Saying Henry is it's tough to
yeah,
say, but on paper, yes, he does
yeah, on
look
paper, yeah. And
more.
even like I watched him play against the Giants last year, and he just looked massive.
Mm.
You noticed him, like he was very explosive, and I do think he's primed for a very good season, especially if everything stays healthy in LA. Losing Keenan Allen also helps because you only have two receivers that are really fantasy viable. Maybe Trey Harris slips in there. Who knows? But um, yeah, and then next I have Genti. The main reason is because com, there's no competition for
Oh, bro, sleeping on Dylan Lowby. Bro, sleeping on DL23. It's
Genti.
crazy.
Who do they have now? Malik Washington. They just still drafted Malik Washington, right?
Yeah. No,
Uh,
it's his backfield.
yeah,
It's Gent's
exactly.
backfield.
It's
It, it
it's
it's all Genty. It's gonna be
it's
Mr.
Genti's
Two. It's gonna
backfield.
be crazy.
I think Mendoza is going to rely on him a bit more. I don't know how Mendoza is going to be in the NFL. I'm not really too excited to watch him play. He might be a very reliant checkdown merchant, especially.
It's gonna be a big Bauer season, big Genty
Yeah,
season.
I think Bowers and Genti are both primed for very big seasons. The offensive line has improved. Running is going to be a little bit easier, but I think his work is cut out for him in the receiving game. I think he's going to have a very, very good, like 60 reception year, something along those lines.
Yeah. I can see
And
that. He's very
he,
underrated at the pass catching.
he never really got injured in college. There was never really those injury concerns, and that's something that does come with Hampton a little bit more, and that's why I do have Genti there.
Genty's build. His build does not get hurt. He's five
Yeah,
seven on a good day. 5'8",
Genti is
5'9", but he's not 5'9".
he's not the best running back prospect to come out, but he is unbelievably
He's
he is.
sneaky. Contact balance is the best I've ever seen.
And
Besides running
there
back,
were a
like
few games last year that he did show some explosiveness, similar to how Travion Henderson did last year. But the thing was, it was very consistent, and he's not in a committee in his backfield. Like he has the keys completely to himself, and no one's touching it. The next two guys, same thing. Chase Brown at my number 7. I love Chase Brown. I think Chase Brown is primed as long as Joe Burrow stays healthy.
yeah,
I think Chase Brown is primed for a top 5 finish this year. I don't know how he's going to get there. I don't know who's going to get hurt. I don't know what's going to happen, but
it's the Bengals.
there's no competition in that backfield. He's going to get a significant amount of receiving work. And when Joe Burrow was healthy towards the tail end of the season, his numbers skyrocketed. He finished, I think let me double check, but I think he was like, yeah,
For a
his,
guy with a disaster first half of the season, he
yeah,
finished very, very competent. I think he finished in
Yeah,
RB7, I believe.
yeah. So week, let me go on where he ranked
And that,
last year.
if you're looking, that
He
Bengals
finished.
offense, we've seen them.
He,
They can be
he finished.
when they're all healthy.
He finished as RB7 last year at 16.62 points. After week eight, so week eight he had 25 he had 25, week 9 19, 18, 15, 18, 18, 16, 30, 33, 29, 19. Like these are all very consistently good running back weeks. And like you do have a couple spike weeks, but consistency alone, he might be one of the best running backs on this board. Like that's kind of where I have him at.
Love
And the
that
reason
take.
that I do have him ahead of Genty, ahead of Hampton, ahead of, I have him ahead of Genty and Hampton. I those are the two main guys that I
Those
want
are
to focus on.
discussions. Yeah.
Is because I've seen him do it before. I've seen a very small sample size of Hampton being fully healthy and playing great. I've seen Genty have a couple pop weeks that get me very excited, and I love his situation. Chase Brown has no competition. He's in almost a similar situation to Genty, but his offense is probably going to score at least an average of 10 points more than the Raiders this year.
It hinges on the Burrow health. It does.
Yeah.
That's what last season hinged on.
Yeah.
He was being drafted in last season. We're talking the 2 to 3 turn was really where he was going.
Yeah.
Especially once draft season came around, he was getting drafted more mid-second. But
Yeah.
I, I do love him, and why I kind of would take one of those sophomores over him is that I don't know where. I don't think it hinges on much for those guys, but I do, and it's tough to hinge on a top 3 quarterback in the NFL being healthy or not. But sadly, that's what it's been.
Yeah. But also at the same time, like, you're, you're telling me Hampton doesn't depend on if Herbert's healthy. You're telling me that
Really, I want to
Genty's.
talk about your number 6 guy. I'm very excited,
Oh,
but
Devon Achane. I love Devon Achane.
God, that offense is gonna be so bad next season. They're gonna
You saw
suck.
what you saw what McCaffrey did last season with no help.
I guess.
Malik Willis is probably going to get hurt within like the first 3 weeks. I'm
H running quarterback.
Quinn Ewers is going to be
Oh my God.
check down
Good
mercy.
Eagles, man.
Here's not- They don't. No one's blocking for him. Who they draft? Caden Proctor to get beat by like the
Yeah.
AFC East doesn't have a great. Like they're not going against great
Blackstone's
edges.
out there. Defensive tackle. I mean,
I just think Achan. We've seen him do it before with very bad offenses in Miami. We've seen him do it with very good offenses, but he has been like top 5 finishes consistently. He is unbelievable, and that's why I do have him slightly ahead of everyone else.
I just think he has a sway. I think he could finish as like the RB16 next season. Like it could be such a dumpster fire that just nothing happens. Like he's the only competent piece in that whole entire offense. So it's just like it's literally kill the carrier. Like I could see that. I do see the pop. He could finish as RB1 next season. I do agree with that.
Yeah, is 3 years in Miami, RB5, RB6, RB5, and last year was RB5, and he finished with over 20 points per game. The running
He's
back,
nasty. He's
the
nasty.
running backs last year were just so good. And this is kind of like the last thing I want to say about fantasy and running backs. And like I do love Devon Achane. I am very high on Devon Achane. This is probably last year was probably the most healthiest we've ever seen running backs ever. I do think that is going to force the market to start being very high on running backs. Like most of the guys that are getting drafted in the top 20 are running backs.
Yeah.
So I do think you get the same value, like possibly even with a safer floor from some of the receivers. Like right now, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown ahead of James Cook and CMC, just because I do think Amon-Ra is going to have a much safer floor than both those guys. Maybe James Cook. Like James Cook and him are a little bit more interchangeable, but I do have him ahead of McCaffrey because I think his floor is so much safer.
Yeah.
And I don't like. I would not want to pay premium price on running backs when you see a guy like Drake London fall to mid-second round, or you see a guy like Justin Jefferson on the 1-2 flip, like something like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of where
I
my head's that with running backs, but
I
at
see
the
it.
same time, you might also see who's on waivers,
Well,
and then there's also very
mhm.
consistent guys later
As
in
a
the
running back
job.
does, and I'd actually like to, within the next couple weeks, and maybe even further on in the summer, since how valuable that, I mean, you guys have seen it. If you're in a fantasy league, especially PPR, there is, and really doesn't matter PPR or whatever. If you're in a fantasy league, running backs are what the trade value holds later on in the season. Running backs hold their value while wide receivers do not. Wide receivers do not hold their value. And that's maybe more of a personal thing, more of a
Yeah,
league by league thing, but I've seen that in every one of my leagues that running back becomes the national currency. If you don't have a running back to trade, good luck trading a wide receiver for a running back. It's not going to happen. You're not getting your money's back. So I would like to get together a top 30 or a top 40 running back list. Even if it is either consensus or our own, I think a consensus would be very cool just because we'd feel
yeah,
so confident about it. But there's guys that are later on, David Montgomery, Janarian Price, Cam Scatabo, Bishal Tuden. I think Pacheco has good value for where he's being drafted. He's being drafted so late that I do think he could get decent work. I think
yeah. There's
there's just a lot of
there's a
good
few guys
guys.
that could shout out right now.
Those are just random shouts I see mid getting drafted around the 20 spot where they are very value guys, guys that could finish top 10.
Yeah.
And there's even sleepers in there. I think if Pollard goes down, Spears could finish top 15. Like there's rookies out there that could finish top high. I very excited for this. This is a really exciting summer going into the fantasy season. This is going to be an excellent NFL season. I couldn't tell you who's going to win the whole thing. I think it, I don't even know. I could start shouting out teams. I think we could talk about
For the
next if
Super
you
Bowl?
want. We could, yeah, I don't know who'd be technically your pick.
Rams.
I know that the Rams is the pick. I know Rams is the pick, but I do think there's plenty of other teams that could beat the Rams were my pick last season, and the Rams didn't win the whole thing. Yes, they do have now the best defensive player in football,
And Aaron
but
Donald come back.
okay, if Aaron Donald comes back, I think we're just gonna have to say screw it.
I
We'll
think we
just
just
move
don't
on to
even need it.
2027. But
I think they're going for what would it be? 20 now? And
that
that's pretty much what they'd
wow,
be shooting for.
they're not gonna be even those Seahawks games. I don't know if they won't be favored in any of their games this season. That game in Seattle, I don't know what week it is. I wonder if
We
they're
gotta see.
favored
We
right
gotta
now.
see like I don't know where the Niners are at. We gotta see like if they're playing the Niners late at home. We gotta see where
I'm a
that's
San
coming
Fran.
from.
Talking a
Maybe
15
if they're
soup.
playing, yeah, we're
No
they're
one
going
else
for the
wants to
first.
handle to them. But the
No,
playoffs also crazier things have happened in the playoffs. I'm not ready to go out and say they are a lock for the Super Bowl, and that's why I think it's going to be exciting. I mean, hell, with the NBA, the Thunder had overwhelming odds the whole entire season. They didn't even make the finals, and the team they lost to didn't win the finals. Who thought the New York Knicks are the 2026 NBA champions? The New York Knicks as a franchise are the reason why I'm not a New York Knicks fan at heart. I'm a Los Angeles Lakers fan. I'm a Los Angeles Lakers fan because of the Marvel cover with Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, Metta World Peace, Pau Gasol, and Kobe Bryant. That's why I'm a Lakers fan. I saw it when I was in elementary school or middle school, and it was just the coolest thing I've ever seen. Just Kobe Bryant as Batman. It was so cool. But it was just all superheroes. It was awesome. But I'm not a New York Knicks fan at heart because I truly believed in my heart of hearts that they would never win the whole thing ever. It was never going to happen. They killed the Carmelo Anthony situation so bad. They killed it from the start. They could have gotten Carmelo Anthony in free agency and they couldn't wait. And they traded all their valuable pieces for him and they didn't do anything. They brought in Phil Jackson, the goddamn Zen master, literally the greatest man to ever touch the sport. And I know people like Greg Popovich, but it's Phil Jackson. He's got so many rings, it's not even funny. And they didn't do anything with him. They were so incompetent. I never thought in a million years they would beat the champions, and they won the whole entire thing. So that's what I mean that anyone could win it this season, genuinely. This could be the Bills season. This could be the Ravens season. It's not the Giants season, but it could be. It could be the Jets season. No, it's not.
I don't think it's the Bills or Ravens. I just don't. I think Mahomes is coming back angry.
Okay, I like that.
I think Mahomes is coming back swinging. I think he's going for four this year.
I don't hate that. This could be the. It really depends when he
It's
comes
probably
back.
Kelsey's last year. It's
Yeah.
probably I mean with K9 coming in, like that gives some new life to the offense.
Yeah.
I
Rasheed
mean
Rice is free.
Rasheed Rice just got out of
Free
jail.
this morning. Free this morning. Shout out. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
I don't know.
I mean the
Connor
Chiefs
Stevens is
offense
great.
is probably gonna end up in the top six. They did lose a bunch of guys on defense, but they did a fairly decent job replacing them with their draft. They did a very good job in the draft with our Mason Thomas and blank right now.
It's
LSU.
just, it's just. Oh man, sort of lame. But
Thank you.
there's so many guys. There's so many teams in the AFC where I don't really know who I'd pick to make it out. There's 6 teams right now that I think could make the Super Bowl. Maybe even
Probably
7.
there's probably more than that,
But
honestly.
like I think
Yeah,
the Texans are probably my favorite team in the whole entire conference.
that's
Genuinely.
disturbing. They have CJ Stroud,
I know,
but
but the team is so great.
they're
Okay,
not.
you say that, but Sam Darnold just won a Super Bowl. So I'm not like gonna just say, and I think CJ Stroud is probably a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. So I'm not gonna I think the Jaguars could do it. I
I
think
really disagree with that take. That
what?
is such a
Texans?
that is such a hot take.
That is not that hot of a take. They have the best defense in football.
No, that Sam Darnold is probably worse than CJ Stroud.
Come on, that is
That's
not.
a
I know
little
he won the
hot.
Super Bowl, but that is
A
not crazy.
little hot.
He's a game manager. I respect to Sam Darnold. Okay, would you take Bo Nix or Sam Darnold?
I'm a big Bo Nix fan. I'm
We're not doing.
I'm still taking Sam Darnold.
Would you take Purdy or Sam Darnold?
Purdy,
Would you
but I
take
think
Trevor?
Purdy's classes ahead of Stroud.
Trevor or Sam Darnold?
Probably Trevor.
Daniel Jones or Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold.
But we're talking about a guy that's floating in the bat in like the 11 to like
Okay,
17 spot.
if you look at Sam Darnold's last 2 years versus CJ Stroud's last 2 years, it's very
I
very
know. I'm aware. Geno Smith produced an offense. I'm aware.
different. Yeah. So didn't break 4,000 yards the past 2 years. 19 touchdowns to 8 interceptions last year and sacked 23 times.
I know. I'm aware of all this.
The year before that, I think he played all the games and he went for like 3,700, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks, and 52 sacks.
He does have a sack tendency. He does. I'm just saying it's not impossible, and that team is so good around him that I really could see it, genuinely, because it's at least in recent years, a quarterback has not carried the Super Bowl champion, and
Yeah,
yes,
no, I completely agree with that. But
but
last year, Sam Darnold was just over 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Not great, not bad, but definitely better than Stroud.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
But Vikings, him on the Vikings was ridiculous. 4,300, 35 tugs, 12 picks. Again, not great, but still better than
They
Stroud.
did pick JJ McCarthy.
They did pick JJ McCarthy,
They
and that
did
is
pick JJ McCarthy.
and you saw what happened to that team with JJ McCarthy. They went from 14-3 to 8-9, or
9 and 8
9-8,
and 8.
9-8. They
But
missed the playoffs, where instead they were. I think they were.
they did have Carson Wentz starting for like a bunch of games last season. Old man, washed up Carson Wentz.
Yeah, but you can't tell me CJ Stroud's a better quarterback than Sam Darnold based on we only had a 3-year sample size of
I'm not
CJ
out here
Stroud.
saying that. I'm just saying that before last season, you would never have thought Sam Darnold would have won a Super Bowl, and he won a Super Bowl. They're not that far off different. They're not that different. They're just not. Sam Darnold's maybe a little more capable. I think that his years with Shanahan mattered a lot. I do think that changed him as a quarterback. But
Yeah.
genuinely, I don't think they're that different, rankings wise, capability wise. I don't.
I think if
They're so good. The
Texans,
Texans are
I
so
think
good.
the Texans had Sam Darnold, I think they are front runners to win the Super
They have
Bowl.
Aiden McDonald in the middle. That defensive line is so good. That
If they put
defense is so good.
If they put Aiden McConnell on the
Stingley's
Texans, they
awesome.
might have better odds to win the Super Bowl.
Low key, Rip Davis Mills, but we're not gonna go there.
Yeah, honestly, Davis Mills, I think they have
Low
a better
key, Rip
chance to win the
Davis
Super
Mills.
Bowl.
I'm not. We love Davis Mills. Like
Davis Mills just beat the Bills.
Davis Mills is really solid. He's
Yeah,
really solid.
yeah, but you saw in that Pats game last year, like the Pats really didn't outplay them. They really didn't outplay them the whole game, and TJ Stroud just looked horrible. That was embarrassing. That was when you like seriously, like I don't even know what to say like after that game. That was brutal to watch.
I was never high on Stroud, genuinely, and I'm not high on Stroud. I'm high on the
Yeah,
rest of the team. I'm not high on Stroud. But
yeah,
I
but
do think that if Stroud takes not even a leap, just like comes back to earth a little bit, I do think they can really contend in that AFC and come you got to get 3 games. I think that defense is going to be so awesome. We're talking about the Broncos last season who were carried by their defense. If Knicks doesn't go down,
yeah, but
they
the
probably are in the Super
Broncos,
Bowl.
yeah,
Like,
no, they at least go to the Super Bowl. But the Broncos were still capable of putting up over 30 points against the Bills. I don't think the Texans offense could do that.
true, but I don't think Knicks is that much better than CJ Stroud. I think they're very similar. They're very similar. I like Bo Nix. I like Bo
Very
Nix.
much
I think I'd
agree.
probably put him right now over him, but Bo Nix is not that good.
I love Bo Nix.
I
I
like
will
Bo
die
Nix.
on that hill that he is better than CJ Stroud from what
I
we've
don't,
seen from his career so far.
I'd probably take
You
Bo
know
Nix
what?
over. I'm not gonna argue
Gets
with
the
you.
job. He always gets the job done. He wins.
He's good,
In
but
his
he's
second.
not that great of a thrower. He's just not.
Oh no, no, he's not great, but it's not bad.
He,
I'm a
he's
big.
closer to Tim Tebow than Tom Brady, but you know,
I love
is that a
Timmy.
crazy take?
It's not a crazy take, but it's actually like kind of fair.
Yeah,
Yeah, honestly, Tim Tebow, like he's probably a more accurate, less mobile Tim Tebow. That's probably a really good
not that
comp for
far
him.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really not that
and I
bad.
like Tim Tebow. It was a shame what happened to Tebow's career. I
Yeah,
just
I don't think it was his fault either. There was yeah, there was like a daily
It was the
fantasy
Jets'
grade
fault.
thing.
It was the New. It's always the New York Jets. It's always the New York Jets. You stinky.
It's Peyton Manning's fault. Should stay with the Colts.
Speaking of quarterbacks, what do we think about the Sorsby situation?
I don't know. Just go to the supplemental draft. Whatever. I really could care less. Honestly, like
Really? All right. He was
I
pretty.
just don't.
He was high on both of our transfer lists. That's why I kind of.
Yeah, he was. But like the reason he was high on my transfer list was because of the gambling situation. Like I would have had him a little bit lower than I had him at one. The thing is,
Both
people
out of
put
his one. He Texas
yeah,
Tech going to be a serious contender this season with him.
I know, but like if they spent so much money on him, and I didn't know how the legal situation was going to go with the gambling, but they decided to part ways with it, and I didn't know if they were going to have to deal with more penalties or more, legal obligations and litigation and just random stuff because of his gambling issue and like
Yeah.
pulling that out. I didn't know if he was going to go peacefully. I didn't know how that whole situation was going to go, and that's $5 million that they're down now. That's $5 million that they're out where they could have spent on a different quarterback. They could have
Mhm.
spent on probably four different players.
Yep. And there
So
was
like,
great quarterbacks in the portal, like we said. Even the back end of the portal was really solid.
mhm.
You could have brought in, and if you could bring in Mustamaker, that would have been insane for that Texas Tech team. I don't even know. And yes, I think he was following his coach to OK State, but still, like
Yeah, but still like a conversation to stay in state.
that's what I mean. It would make sense. I could see
Yeah,
the Texas
I
Tech.
just really I started watching a little bit more of his tape. Like I was very excited about him, and I do think he's one of the top three talents coming in, like in that transfer class. But there's some plays like he made that I really was not impressed by, and he does have a tendency to turn the ball over a
He
lot
wasn't.
more.
He was a true freshman. He's a little kid running around out there. They
No, not
handed him.
Master not
Oh,
Master
okay.
Sorsby. Yeah,
Yeah. No, he does. Yes. I was like, so I was thinking, I'm defending it. I'm like, he was really solid last season. North
no, no,
Texas was awesome last season.
yeah, and Cincinnati wasn't really anything special in a very not I wouldn't say crowded Big 12, not like overly like insane Big 12
It's
conference.
crowded for how flat it is. It's very like
Yeah,
very flat.
you got your peaks with Tech and BYU last year, but pretty much aside from that, I think everyone else finished 8-4 or four
Yeah,
and
and then
eight,
it devolves into
anywhere
the
in that
Houston's,
ballpark.
Arizona's, the Arizona
Yeah,
State
and
had a decent,
where did Cincinnati finish last year? I think they didn't.
probably, I think top middle.
I don't think so.
Were they worse than that? I know Houston finished strong. Arizona was kind of ass. Colorado finished ass. TCU was kind of ass.
I love TCU.
I like TCU. I love the Horned Frogs.
Um, do they end up ranked? I don't know. God, ESPN, you were not good at your job. I just want to know their record. I don't care about ranking. All right. Now I'm on PFF, so this is gonna take 45 seconds. Um, last year 7-6. I'm assuming they won a bowl game. No, they lost in the Liberty Bowl, so they went 5-7. Not a bad year. In conference, they went 5-4.
Yeah, they were at
But
the
still, like
top of the
to
middle.
still like to finish, like they're just not really a good team. I'm just not
I,
really
I
too
think
high on.
just he was good at Cincinnati. That team is just not. You're just they don't have the recruiting that some of the other schools in the Big 12 do. I like him coming in, and I do think it's more interesting to talk about where will he be drafted. If he's going to be taken at all, I think he does be. I think he's going to be taken, but
I think he's going to be
who's
taken, and I
taking
think
him?
who's taking him? There's
I
probably a
think
handful of teams that would take him right now. I think the Cardinals would take him right now. I think the Jets would take him right now. It depends what they have to give up for him, but I think he's better than their current situation. I do think Geno Smith is a very viable in between quarterback for a little bit, but all in all, I really just not a huge. I think Geno's going to pick up a little bit from last year because last year was very brutal with the Raiders because that was a poorly managed team. But I do think he's going to be a little bit more. Kind of the Jets depend on it, but I think they would much rather have Sorsby there. When there's talks about Cade Klubnik being your starting quarterback, you go
yeah.
get Sorsby. You go get anyone else.
Mhm.
You go get the guy that hit Wemby in the head with an egg.
Yeah,
This is
he was that was a
sure sound
dart.
more accurate than Cade.
That was a dart. Shout out Jackson, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I was kind of thinking that because I'm like the Jets and the Cardinals are what screams at me. There's no teams with like super old quarterbacks. Like I think when we were talking a little bit, I mentioned think about if the Rams didn't take Simpson and had like this would be like the perfect thing for them to just get a guy for it's not free. You have to exchange next year's pick, but it's pretty free, and all in
Well,
all.
what is he going
But
for right now? He going for like a third rounder, or is he going for a first rounder?
I doubt it. My guess would be that he's a fourth round supplemental pick. That would be my guess.
Oh, yeah.
But it's interesting
No,
if the Cardinals take because they have the Cardinals picked Beck and the Jets picked Delar. They both seem to be excited about those guys. Do you want to bring in another quarterback with not like as much of appearing problems, but he is a media. He's going to be a media. I don't know if darling's the word, but he's going to be a media thing next year. He's going to be a media icon. Icon's not the word,
I,
but
I think it would
almost
be
like a
good.
couple of them.
I think the Cardinals could take advantage of that more than the Jets.
I
I
do
think
too.
the Jets just being in New York in general just get enough attention, but the Cardinals are pretty much a dying fan base. Hence why
Hmm.
they took Jeremiah Love at pick 3, which
Yeah.
insane. I didn't understand that. Um, yeah, so I just think it would make sense for the Cardinals. He's already from like was going down to Texas. Arizona's a state over, 2 states over, and they do need attention. They do need when we talked about the Arizona Cardinals last year, or pretty much since Kyler Murray got drafted, we really haven't thought much of them. Like the fan base is dying, and it's pretty much a team that you never want to watch. It was never really exciting to see, and like it was kind of
Yeah.
where like wide receivers went to go die. Like AJ Green died, D Hop died there.
And I
So
hope Marv
I don't
doesn't
know.
die there. I think Marv's
I
so
think it
good.
makes more
He
sense for
doesn't
the
die.
Cardinals than the Jets. What's up?
I said I
What'd you say?
hope Marv doesn't go die there. I really hope he doesn't.
Marv's
I
already
love
dead.
Marv. I hope he doesn't die. Marv's not dead. Marv
Marv's
is
already
not
dead.
dead. No, he
Honestly,
isn't.
for his
Bring him
ADP
back to
right
life.
now,
I love.
his
I
ADP
really like
right now
Marv.
is fairly nice.
Michael Wilson's going higher
Because
than
he is.
him. I like Michael Wilson, but
I know, but what? I'd rather take Michael Wilson, honestly. The thing is with
I think I'd take the
Marv,
gamble.
anytime we
I
have,
think MHJ is just so good. He really is so good. Still,
I know, but
I don't think it's
what
a
we've seen
talent
from Marv
problem.
is like he's never been a high reception guy, and he's not probably not going to cut into Trey McBride's targets next year. So, and Michael Wilson did get targeted more than he did. So I just he's always been a guy who just has pop weeks, and you have to be able to guess them. And for the most part, you can't guess them because they're just random. Like it'll be like a Sunday game at like 4 o'clock against like the Saints, and he'll go for 4 receptions, 100 yards, 2 tugs, and like you just can't. And then the following week he'll go for 2 receptions on four targets for 14 yards. Then you're like, ah, that's the thing with Marv. He's just such a pop guy. He's like
True.
basically Jameson Williams from a couple of years ago.
And
Yeah, but I mean, if you do
I
want
don't
to take
know.
the
I
pop
think
on
he's
someone
better
at that
than I think.
ADP,
You know what I'm going to ask?
here you
They're
go.
both taken at the same spot from the same school. If you could pick one guy to have right now on your roster, say you're starting a team, would you rather have Carnell Tate or Marvin Harrison Jr.? Not fantasy, team, pure team wide receiver in real life.
Um,
It's
See, that's the thing.
it's
I
hard.
haven't seen Darnell Tate translate to the NFL. At the time, if we're looking both of them as rookies, we're going Marvin Harrison Jr. Much more excited about him coming out. From what I know about Marvin Harrison, I do think they're very similar, similarly the same player. Um, but I think Cardinal Tate might get better receiving work. Like I think he might actually get fed targets instead of Marvin Harrison Jr., where he's basically seen as a deep threat, a third option on this team. So, I mean, maybe it's the situation he's in, but even with Jacoby Brissett, like Trey McBride thrives in that offense. I think the biggest thing with, honestly, I might go Cardinal Tate right now, just for the upside
Fair
potential.
enough. Maybe I'll die on the Marvin Harrison Jr. hill. Maybe I'll just die there. But
It's
yeah,
it's
I
just
think.
like
Is there anything
one of
else
his
we want
best
to talk about
traits.
today? We want.
I'm gonna keep talking about Marv for a minute. Can't help
Please
myself.
keep talking. Yeah, I
Just like
I
yeah,
gotta run.
one
I
of
gotta run to
Marv's
Costco
best
after
traits.
this.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if you got to run, but I'll just
No,
end
I
with
don't
this
have to.
thing.
I'm just gonna
With Marv,
whenever we're
it's
done,
like
we can head over.
oh, okay. The one thing with Marv that I like really, and I do see it a bit with Tate, but I think Tate is not as exceptional at this quality than Marv is. I think Marv is such a good contested catch receiver. I think he's one of the best contested catch guys, like that we've seen coming out of Ohio State or just in college in general. And he relies on that so heavily that he really doesn't run routes that efficiently. And at the college level, you don't need to be that good of a route runner. You need to be if you're a great contested guy and you're able to have that ball control and that hand control and even the foot control and just do everything that in your power to be so good at that one skill, it does make quarterbacks a little bit more fearful to throw you the ball. And Kyler Murray, he's not a very fearful guy, but with his efficiency issues, he knew he was kind of getting out of Arizona at one point or another. So like being a safer quarterback and not taking shots, and he is a strong arm guy, but he definitely has taken a step off. And then moving into Jacoby Brissett, a guy who's a backup, he's consensus backup, solid quarterback, but he he's not going to be chucking bombs down the field. He's going to be taking better, safer options like a Trey McBride out route, corner route, whatever Trey McBride's running, because he's very good at getting open. Same thing with Michael Wilson. We saw him thrive in that offense because he is much better at getting open than Marvin Harrison. And I hope I don't see the same thing from Carnell Tate, where he's so reliant upon that contested catch ability that he's not really running great routes and he's not creating separation, not getting. So that's kind of just my 2 cents. I think Cardinal Tate's not as good of an athlete as Marvin Harrison Jr., but I do think that might play into his favor because he might be more available to be open for Cam Ward than Marvin Harrison will be for
Fair.
Jacoby Brissett this upcoming season. That's just
Yeah,
my
I
take
do
on
think
it, but
it's gonna be a big season. I he's got we've used the term a lot, but he's got the keys as the wide receiver one on that offense. I think Wandale's interesting as a guy that's at his
I think
ADP. He's
I'm a
gonna
big
get
Shamiri
targets
DK.
as well.
I think Shamiri DK is going for having gonna
That's
have a
not
season.
crazy. That's not
Yeah,
ridiculous. I do not
I think
like
he's a
that.
good sleeper. Like if you're in like a deeper format, he might be a great pickup late.
He produced at the end of
Just
last
because like
season. I had him on my dynasty team as just a flyer, and he was a guy I
I
was putting
also
in as my
like
flex at the end of this.
I also like Alec A more.
Yeah.
A manner. Yeah, A manner, I
I
think.
think it's a
Yeah.
Humanor, Alika
A
Humanor.
humanoid. Yeah. I like a name in humanoid. Can someone just be called like Jimmy Smith? Thank you. God. So
Derek
so
Johnson.
simple. Derek.
Simple. But
But
I agree
yeah,
with
no,
that.
I think I don't think that receiving room is as bad as people really made it out to be. Cardinal Tate does help, but I don't think he was worth the fourth pick 80 like that draft
Yeah.
position there. I think you go with the defensive player, you go with Reese, you just kind of even Caleb Downs there kind of makes sense. You just got to
I
be
think you could pick
a little
frankly, I
bit
think you
more.
could pick a line. They needed everything. They
Malaga would have been fine. Even I mean, Fano would have been a reach, but I would have been fine with that.
but still, yeah.
Um, yeah, it just didn't
Tate
really
was a
make a
reach,
ton.
so
Yeah, it
I didn't think
just
there was a lot
didn't really.
in this draft. Top five, you know.
I mean, aside from Jordan Tyson's injury history, if you
Yeah.
don't include that, you could make a case for it. But I mean,
Yeah,
injuries
but
are a factor. So,
you can make a case
I
for
mean,
any
him
of these
getting,
guys.
yeah, I,
I do love.
he,
I like him on the Saints a lot. I think that's going to be very interesting. We haven't even talked about him fantasy wise this season. I think it's going to be
yeah,
pretty
his
close
ADP I
to
think is at
Olave.
60. I think it's at his ADP is so much lower fantasy wise. Um,
Yeah,
but I think
and
he's going to have
Olave's
a
going
very
third
similar.
round this year. I don't like Olave that high. He's going second,
Yeah,
third round
Olave.
turn.
Yeah, I really don't like that right now. I think that's way
I
too
like
high for him,
Olave. Don't get me wrong, but
especially.
last season was the peak of Olave, what we could see from Olave. I don't think it goes up from here. And he was good. Don't get me wrong. I had Olave. He was a great wide receiver too to have on the roster, seriously. But with Tyson coming in, take Tyson's ADP, man. I don't think it's gonna be that different from the two of them. I don't think one's going for 14 and one's going for 6. I think it's gonna be more like 11 and 10 or 10-5 and 9 or even I could yeah, and maybe Olave is the touchdown guy in that offense just based on Shao really liked him for touchdowns last season. And Shao, they seem
Yeah,
to have some really good chemistry going. I like I do like that
yeah,
offense and we didn't talk much about worst to first today, like just our pure picks. I think the Saints are an excellent pick to go worst to first. I think that offense is going to be really fun this year. I think that defense
yeah.
is even,
And
but
I'm looking at
who's
Olave's finished as the wide receiver 8 last year. It was his best finish of his career. And I mean, aside from the year prior, he played 16 and 15 games his other 2 years in the league, and this was his best season by far, just because he was a target merchant throughout the season, and that really didn't die out with Trout, which was cool. That was actually fairly a good thing about his performance. And
yep.
well, his last 3 games that he played, I think he was injured against Atlanta in week 8. 21, 37, and oh, cool. Sorry, Rob Kelly's coming to volleyball. And
Let's go.
yeah, and then he finished it with 26 against Tennessee. I mean, the matchups were super favorable. It's the Panthers, Jets, and Titans. So can't really take too much into that account. How much reception he was getting. And then last year he started turning into a touchdown guy. Target, good yards per reception, like actually becoming a or route run. Sorry, yeah, like good yards per route run. Like it went from the beginning of the season for him, like barely passing 2 in the first 5 weeks to going to well over 2, like almost at 3.5 and 4 in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think Olave is going to produce well with Shroud, and I do think it is going to take away from Tyson's possibility. Same thing with ETN's receiving background, because I mean Kamara was such a factor, not necessarily last year, but throughout his career in the
He's
receiving
been.
game, that I think it might steal away from Jordan Tyson. And I mean, even Jawan Johnson was pretty fantasy viable last year. So I do like his ADP at 70, and I do like the upside that he does have. but
If Shaq
a
can go
lot.
for 4,000 next season, which I don't think is a disgusting take,
No,
he's gonna have to share the wealth, and I don't know where Olave goes from here. I don't think he can repeat or go higher than 8. I just don't. I don't think he's gonna fall off a cliff. I won't say that unless the injury bug happens, which is always a concern. He's had I mean, besides concussions, he's had injuries all over the body. But I
yeah,
like. I really like Tyson to cut
this,
into that share, to take a piece of the pie. There's no reason why he can't take 22% of the Shao share, 25%. I think he
yeah,
would. I think he's going to need that. I like Juwan Johnson, but Juwan Johnson was more of a touchdown guy anyway. I don't really see him mopping up targets and yards the whole entire season. At least compared to a guy like Tyson. I like Tyson for the ADP, as I've said. But the Saints
yeah.
are exciting. I when was the last time we were excited about the Saints? Genuinely. Drew Brees, like
Drew
2016?
Brees, Jimmy Graham,
Like genuinely.
Drew Brees, Kamara,
Michael
maybe like 20,
Thomas, like,
yeah, 2019, Michael Thomas, Drew Brees, Kamara was disgusting.
exactly. But that's
2018, they almost went to the Super Bowl. It was just, like those Saints teams were good as hell.
they were good. It's a
But
shame Drew Brees only
it's
got one. He really
yeah,
deserved more than that.
it's definitely and should have got MVP. He came in second 4 times. So
It's a shame. That's when you play with Rodgers and Brady. It's tough.
yeah, play with Rodgers, Brady, Manning,
And
and then
Manning.
like you got like the random ones of like Matty Ice and Cam Newton,
Got
like guys
Matty.
in your division too,
You got
which is
Cam
crazy.
Newton. You got AP. It's tough. I mean, I'd assume JJ Watt finished higher than him in 2012. Like
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
The Saints. I don't think the Saints were really that good in 20. They were okay, but
They were always good, and shout out Sean Payton. He's one of the best coaches in football
yeah.
still. He's
How do you feel about ETN this year? I
I'm
know I
pretty
think you're a little higher on him than I am.
I like Etan a lot. Kamara's still on the roster, so I'd like to see what happens with that. But let's
Yeah,
assume that Kamara is a cut because his contract's pretty high. I don't think he's going to make the final roster, and I think it would be interesting to carry through with ETN, Kamara, and Neal. I don't see that happening. So let's just say it's ETN's backfield with Neal behind him. I like ETN because I think he's a super underrated receiver. I think he could play the slot role a lot next season, especially if you want to do an empty backfield with Shao. I think he's going, based on those Camara seasons back a long time ago, I would not be surprised if we saw 600 receiving yards and 800 rushing yards. I think that would be a very productive ETN season. I don't think that's off the wall
what'd you
insane.
say? Like what were the numbers exactly? I was looking at his
Oh,
previous numbers.
I
Sorry.
was, I would say like an estimate for me, and I'd like to see what his over under is, but I wouldn't be surprised to see 500, 600 receiving yards and 800 to 1,000 rushing yards. I do think if you bring him in and you pay him all that money, I think it means you really like him in your offense. I don't think it's going to be where he's brought in to share carries with Devin Neal. I think it's his backfield. I just in this today's NFL, you don't pay a running back that much money if you don't want them to be the man. Especially, I mean, Josh Jacobs a couple years back. Josh Jacobs was on the downturn with the Raiders, and he goes to the Packers, and now it's his backfield. And they're different players, but they're also different offenses. I think Shao is going to really like that check down next season, and I don't think it's just check downs. I think ETN is a guy that you can design plays for, that he can play the slot. You remember him coming out of Clemson? You watched him at Clemson. He's a really, really capable receiver. Better than a lot. He's a Tyrone Tracy level receiver, probably better than Tyrone Tracy. And I'd like to see the two-way impact of him next season. I think he's a really good player to get at, fantasy wise. I like him at the 12 spot. I like him right around that turn before you get to that, I guess, third tier of running backs. He's probably at the way end of my second tier, depending on how you rank running backs. But I like the Saints offense next season, and I think in order for them to crank next season, it has to be a little bit of an ETN show. I'm excited for that. I
Yeah.
am pretty high on him.
Uh, the thing is with him, it's very similar to K9, where he's really only had one very productive season that we've seen out of his career. Last season was decent. I mean, he finished as RB 14. He was drafted much lower than that. He was drafted like
True.
in the hundreds. So
I
I'm
I think that's
assuming.
more of a Jaguar issue. I don't really
I
see that
s
happening this season.
Yeah, no, and like he might get a ton of work, and like he might have that upside. And his one season that he finished well Averaged like 16.6 points, and then he was the bell cow back. I mean, he was getting 75% of the touches out of the backfield. Uh, so that's like it's
Yeah.
kind of a big thing with it, and but his
Love
receiving
his
work was
I just
significantly
love
higher than
his
Henry.
I love his receiving upside comparatively, and I would convince myself to take him over Henry just because I love the receiving upside. I do think he's gonna be there. I don't see a guy on the roster that can be the slot guy. I think it might be TN next season, and maybe not full
What
time,
about
but
what about Olave played slot pretty much all last year?
I mean a guy to just more like a Z back, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Not like you're not putting him fully out there. I don't think like he's not going out split, but I do like him as a Z back or just I really, yes, I've said it a million times, but the receiving upside mixed with the lack of competition in the backfield full of carries, I do think he's a very compelling running back next
And
season.
honestly, even the lack of competition that the NFC South has this year, like I don't really think there's many teams on the other side, like defensive side of the ball, that are really going to compete with the Saints offense this year.
Yeah.
Like they got to play the Falcons twice. I think they're going to mollywop the Falcons both times. And then I think the Panthers are. It's going to be a shootout between those two games because I think I'm a lot higher on the Panthers offense than a lot of people are. Not that I love Chuba Hubbard, but Jonathan Brooks coming back. I am very high on Jonathan Brooks this year. He is a guy that I'm drafting like last pick, and I am very happy to have him.
Yeah.
Um, just his profile coming out of Texas, coming off an ACL tear
Hmm.
at Texas, and he was still a second round back. That's how good he
Yeah.
was when he was
This
in
is the Brooks
college.
season. It's if it's never if it's gonna happen, it's this season. This is the Brooks season.
Yeah, and I think he's going to take over the role from Hubbard, who or Chuba is probably more people are more familiar with me saying Chuba.
Yeah.
Um, I think he's probably going to take over that role, like similar to how Rico Dowdle did. Like that's the biggest thing. It's just like
Yeah.
I don't think Chuba's really that good. Like, and I
I
love
love
Chuba.
Chuba, but he's a very solid. He's just a very solid running back.
He reminds me
He's
of
pretty.
Miles
He's James.
Sanders.
Oh, Miles Sanders. I was gonna say James Conner, but yeah, like
I think James Conner's better than Chuba. I think
interesting.
Conner has much more productive seasons than Chuba has ever had.
Yes, I agree with that. But like on like actually just like as talents, I think they're very similar players. I think
But the
Chuba
thing
has
is, like
better
Chuba
receiving
Hubbard's like not
upside than
really
James
doesn't
Conner.
really have receiving upside,
But Chuba
and he's
kind of
not really a
does. I
down.
like him out of the backfield.
I mean, he's a decent receiver. He's not great, but he's not a downhill runner. That's the thing with James Conner is he knows his role. He's between the tackles. He's going to make plays. And I'm not saying in the fantasy aspect, but as a
Yeah.
difference maker, James Conner is a better running back from what we've seen, and seen him have like double digit touchdown seasons before. Like I don't think we're ever going to sniff that from Chuba Hubbard.
I do think Chuba's underrated because every season no one believes in Chuba, and he played so well. He got paid. He's productive. He's there. He's rarely hurt. I like I like Chuba a lot. I have to admit, not like as a product. Like don't pick him as your RB1. Don't do that. But and it's interesting.
If he's your RB1, you're in rough shape.
Don't
Yeah,
don't do it. Don't. We are we are done with the zero RB draft strategy. Do not do it ever. Do not zero
what,
RB. The zero RB draft strategy. Don't do it.
dude? It's so fun
Don't
though.
do it. Yes, I've done it
So
before. Don't do
fun.
it.
I've been
There is
doing
times this season though where you could pull it off. There's a chance to pull it off this season.
I would not do a zero RB type. I would go for like one in the first or second round that I'm going to be my bell cow, and then pretty much go receivers throughout because I think people are just going to slide up on running backs and grab guys super high, and then I think
Mhm.
you get a guy like Tony Pollard who's going to be a decent RB2,
Yeah.
but you're going to have your flex is going to be Devonta Smith or a Mecca Ibuka or like a very high end
Hero
wide receiver
RB.
too.
Hero RB is that definitely that's a
Oh, I
strategy.
love Hero RB. I've
Hero
been
RB
really
is great, especially because you can get, like you said, you can get great value on wide receivers in those second, third, fourth, fifth rounds.
Yeah, no,
Guys that
and the
are
only
quality.
guys I'm really looking at, like if I have the option between the thing is like there is a huge drop off from Drake London to the next guy, Nico Collins. I think there
Yeah.
is a big gap between there, and that is completely filled with running backs.
Hmm.
So it really depends on what you like there. But like if I see A-Chan on the board or I see Chase Brown on the board right in like mid second round, and I have the opportunity to stack them
You
with a
can.
Jonathan
There's
Taylor, I
nothing
have the
wrong with the RB stack because there's so many wide
and
receivers this
and
season.
then go with wide receiver and just hope for the best. And I mean, like, even if you're able to, I'd take Saquon Barkley over. Like, if I'm in that hole, like, where I'm not,
Oh yeah.
Saquon's on the board, I could take him, or I could take, like, Nico Collins.
Well,
Might consider Nico.
those later starting wide receivers in that hole, especially once you get past where like the top tight ends are going. Pittman, I really like this season. Odunze, I really like this season. Jameson
Yeah.
Williams, I really like this season. Take your flaw. I don't know. Every league kind of differs on Rasheed Rice. Some people are taking him second round. Some people are taking him fifth round. It really is like
Yeah. The thing is
over.
with Rasheed Rice, it's a little scary to take him. I mean, it is a better situation than where we expected it to be. But then there's also going to be people that draft Malik Neighbors at
Exactly.
pick
And like
10,
you
pick
can get
12.
Devontae Adams super late this season. You can get yeah, there's value there. You could pick your favorite of the Jacksonville wide receivers. I like Jacoby Myers at his ADP.
I like Brian Thomas. See, like there's so
I hope BTJ's playing. I hope God knows what's going on with that. But I think he's
I
really
mean even
good.
even
Like
Alec Pierce at his ADP on Sleeper is 95. I think he's
100%,
much higher than that. He's going to be the receiver one.
I think Pearsall is very interesting just because there's nobody else in that offense.
Jaden Reed,
Jaden Reed,
viable.
great. That Jaden Reed is the guy. I truly believe that.
Quentin Johnson.
Quentin Johnson, um,
He's going to finish top 50
QJ.
here.
You're a big QJ guy, and
I
I'm coming
love
around to
QJ.
it. I am. I'm coming
No,
around.
because it's like it doesn't make sense. Like he was a better receiver than Lab McConkey, and Lab McConkey's going 7 rounds ahead of him. And you're telling me that I love Unk, I love Keenan Allen, but you're telling me a
I don't know.
33-year-old Keenan Allen is cutting into his target share so badly that he can't produce.
He's the safety valve. He was just a safety valve. I
But
love Keenan Allen.
the thing is, he lost his
All are
role as
very
a
good, Jen.
33-year-old Unky.
He's so unky. At the end of the season, it was bad. What the hell is he doing out there? Like
But like
anyone else?
also with Quentin Johnson, I do get the concerns, but like he did drop zero one week where he just did cardio all over the field, but there were some weeks he went for like two tugs and he was just a great player to
There's
watch.
a lot of
And
guys, but going where those guys are going, where who knows the Tank Dell situation this year? Who knows? Like
I
that's a
do like
great
Jaden Higgins a lot this year.
Jaden
I
Higgins. I
am,
like this season. I like T Higgins. No one really likes T Higgins, but with Joe Burrow there, T Higgins is a
but the
star
thing
wide
is,
receiver.
if Joe Burrow's hurt again, say injuries catch up to him again
Well,
this year.
then don't take Chase Brown then.
Yeah, don't take Chase Brown, don't take T
Take
Higgins.
Jamar Chase. Take
Uh,
Jamar Chase.
yeah, Jamar Chase will be functional with whoever's throwing it
Quarterback
back there.
play.
He put up 39 points with Jake Browning in the game. That was
The
crazy.
George
That was
Pickens, CeeDee
actually
Lamb
insane.
thing's really funky, but like,
Yeah, that's why I just think CD's ceiling's a little bit more capped
yeah.
than most of the other guys
But
because he could finish
I
as his receiver too this year.
but you might be able to get excellent value on CeeDee Lamb. Like, depending on really like,
Yeah,
yeah, we talk ADPs, but a lot of these are league based, and you guys know how your league
yeah,
drafts. Does your league draft on potential, or do they draft purely on last season? Are they running back heavy,
yeah.
or do they love wide receivers? Do they love quarterbacks? I hope they don't love quarterbacks, or I hope they do, because then you can
I
draft a lot.
hope they love
I
quarterbacks.
hope they.
If I
I
get
hope Josh
Josh
Allen's
Allen,
a first rounder.
yeah, Josh Allen mid second round would make me unbelievably happy.
But
Brock
quarterbacks are so
Bowers,
fun this year.
Brock
Like,
Brock Bowers going at the 1-2 flip would make me so happy.
yes, I got him at the 2-3 flip last year, and I felt good about
Yeah,
that.
you
Don't draft
should.
him any higher. I wouldn't have
Like,
done that. Well, low-key I would have because I got JSN in the third, and it was kind of dope. But lost in the
but
chip, sadly. Bijan Robinson ass fucked me. But, like, it's okay. It's cool. I got my
no,
money
but
back.
yeah, no, that's like the biggest thing with fantasy this year is like the flips are really hard this year, and like I'm not a huge fan of it on either side of the flips. If you could sit around pick 7 to 10, I think that's pretty much like the safest place you could
Yeah.
sit. And you might not win your league, but I feel like you have a much better chance out of those positions. Especially you can get James Cook, you can get Jonathan Taylor, you
Yeah.
can get CMC if you want. You can get a very good high level wide receiver option and then pair it
Yeah,
with a good running back like Devon
I agree.
Achane, like Ashton Genty. Chase Brown will probably be sitting there.
This
Even
is a
Saquon
year
Barkley.
to be further back. And the way end is tough. The way front, at least you can get one of those hero running backs, but it's the
In the first two,
middle of
in
each
the
round.
first two slots, you could really get running backs. If not, then you got to bank that running back is going to be sitting. And I think that's why I love Chase Brown so much because I've done a lot of like picks between 3, 4, and 5, and Chase Brown's usually sitting there.
All right. I like Chase Brown, but we are at 10-second warning.
Oh shit.
All right. I was happy to sit down with you today, Jake.
Yeah.
We'll start going by Madison Sunday or DJ, but
Yeah.
thanks for listening and have a great Sunday.